Welcome back to the Papa Meat channel. How you doing? How you doing? Come in and sit on down because today we're going to be talking about bikers. Give one random clip of a biker.
I can smell the alcohol in your breath.
I don't give a f. I live here and I'm not operating.
What? Yeah, it's my dad. The experience of riding a motorcycle on an open road with the wind against your face is seen as one of the ultimate symbols of freedom. Up on the mountain, fade away the flame. Ooh, the red, white, and blue. Oh, yeah. Across film and TV, motorcycles are seen as cool, rugged, and dangerous. Whether it's the stylish design of a bike, the slick leather jacket, or simply the element of danger that riding introduces to your life, there's clearly a lot to the allure, right? Sex, drugs, freedom. Nick, is there anything more American than a motorcycle?
Hot dogs.
I don't agree. To those who have never been involved with this community or learned about the culture, it's a very fascinating world to delve into. After all, motorcycle culture ties back to things like rock and roll and even organized crime. So let's look at everything the biking world has to offer. One more clip of a guy on a motorcycle. Before I get into this, you have any experiences with motorcycles, Nick?
I've always wanted to ride one. I saw.
Why don't you? They're fun.
Now I'm scared of them. But when I was younger, I saw House get a motorcycle. I was like, I want to be like Dr. House.
So because Dr. House rode a motorcycle, that's what made you be like, I want a motorcycle. And now you're afraid of them. You're frightened by them. Well, is it just the look of them, or is it just actually riding them you're scared of?
Oh, I'm afraid I'm gonna get hit by a
car,
semi truck, and then
sure.
I'm gonna be alive on the side of the road.
I mean, listen. You're in a little bit of danger anywhere you go, right? But I will say, people who ride around because they think it's lame to wear a helmet while riding a bike. What are we doing here? I can even just sit there and be like, I flip off my motorcycle. At least I have a helmet. Sure, you fracture all your ribs, you puncture a lung, you dislocate all your arms, and you are just laying on the fucking side of the road like Gumby. But at least I can still speak. At least I can still formulate words.
There's actually, I think, some train of thought of people like, well, if I get in a wreck in a motorcycle accident, I just want to die. Like, I don't want to be paralyzed or,
No hope at all? If I get in any kind of wreck, I just want to just kill me?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, maybe that's just the biker way. Let's find out. People who aspire to join this community first have to decide what type of ride they want to purchase. This is not an easy decision. And by doing some research online, you'll soon find out that there's a lot of infighting within the biking community, which I'm glad we're starting on this because it's a big deal. You either ride hogs or you ride the anime bikes. Also, my dad used to call it a rice. Is that racist?
I thought they're called like pocket rockets.
You thought they were called rocket pockets? Is rice? You know, bleep all of this. Is that a racial slur? Because he's saying it because it's
Asians.
Ooh. Don't get the wrong idea. Most normal people could care less about what people ride so long as they're not causing any trouble on the road. That being said, you'll definitely find some animosity between owners of sports bikes and Harleys. They're like, hogs. Fucking
man's bike.
Because there is a difference. There's definitely, like, if you look at a picture of a man who rides a Harley, and this could be anywhere, I would say anyone who is ages like 40 years old and up, or 45 and up, that's like a Harley rider, right? All the new age people, they saw Akira, Nick. Saw Akira too young. Akira didn't ride a goddamn Harley. He rode a sports bike. It's not about loud noise, it's about going fast. That's the difference.
I want to be silent and going the speed of light so no one can hear me, but they see me.
If you're going the speed of light, would they see you?
No.
So you like the idea of weaving in between? If you were in your wildest fantasy, would you be someone who's on a sports bike and you're going between the cars?
I want to follow all the rules. I'm going to stay in my lane. I would just go on empty roads and go 200 miles an hour.
You would 100% wrap your motorcycle around a tree. I mean, on a highway, listen, I'm not condoning people swerving around, but at least a highway, it's just going to be open road. All of a sudden, you're going to sit there, there's going to be like a random sharp turn. No!
Have you seen the death wobble?
Yeah. Which, listen, let's talk about some of the differences. All right, so Harley riders are seen by many as being elitist and obnoxious about their love for their specific type of bike. Harley Davidson as a brand has sort of a cult-like following, and some go so far as to claim people who don't use them are not real bikers. So, first off, here's the thing. Very true. That's my father. My father done to a T. Also, another thing, that's every subculture on earth about anything. What I'm doing is good. Everything else sucks. If you're diehard on something, that's going to be everything you say. If you're a diehard football fan, you're going to say every other sport sucks compared to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Even truck drivers will splatter Harley Davidson decals all over their car so everyone they pass knows they're cool as hell. So they're like, yeah, I'm in a truck, but at home, my fucking hog's waiting for me. Also, editor, every time I do this, put a loud ass fucking. People who ride motorcycles in general or bikes, they are people that have to peacock. They have to be seen. I've ridden a fucking a Kawasaki, and I've ridden a Harley. Here's the thing, yeah, it's fun. Ain't that fun? Those people are peacocking. They want to be seen.
You don't want like a bad bitch behind you getting wet, getting the fucking cushions all soapy and sticky.
Wow. Got a flashbang. My God, I like. The answer is no. Well, it's also, I would rather be on your own seat. If there's a girl's getting excited at the back of the bike, where's that going? It's going underneath my deal. Now all of a sudden, my asshole, and my taint area is all wet from the slip and slide that's happening. Yeah, keep it in your own seat. Hunter's tip. Hunter's tip. Hunter's tip. Keep it in your own seat.
I've seen videos of like the girl will ride cow style.
Yeah.
And she's
cow style. She'll ride in front of you where they're facing you. That was like that Kim Kardashian and Kanye video? Remember that?
Oh yeah.
Giant Nazi warship just fly directly into the sun. Sport bike riders are slender and sleek, like an otter.
Well, they're going fast. They
like going fast, but they like the feminine kind of curves of it. You know, they like anime. They like the slender nature of things, being sleek.
They're like the modern day jockey.
That's why they're almost always, without a doubt, if there's a guy who has money and he's riding bikes, he 100, and this is not even a joke, 120% of the time, I'm putting that much money on it, owns a Ford F-150 King Ranch edition. All right, it's that common. And that's also the guy who puts the decals on it as well, which is he almost feels like ashamed. He's like, yeah, I mean, this is a $150,000 truck, but I got my real loves back home. According to the more snobby Harley riders, sports bikes are not to be respected because they're not, quote, American made, and are more focused on technical performance than the biking lifestyle. Yeah, your bike can perform better than mine, but you know what? You can't get this fucking.
Do they have electric bikes now?
What the fuck did you just say to me, pussy? What the fuck did you just say to me, pussy?
That's what I would do with my e-bike, though. Have a speaker on it so it sounds like I'm revving.
That would be the funniest thing of all time, is getting an e-bike and being like, hello, fellow bikers. It had like a huge JBL speaker attached to it, and just go to YouTube and it's like obnoxious bike sounds as a Harleys are typically for an older crowd in their 40s to 50s, as you'd imagine. Most people at this age are just trying to enjoy a peaceful ride and aren't trying to get involved with the drama. Sadly, there are those who openly poke fun at the young people covered in full biker attire riding their crotch rockets. In return, many sports bike riders think Harley riders are grouchy old men that are desperately trying to live up to their grizzled tough guy aesthetic that the brand is known for. Something perpetrated by the things like movies like Easy Rider or shows like Sons of Anarchy or the very well-known biker group, the Hells Angels Outlaw Group. You want to know what fucking freedom sounds like? Sounds like this motherfucker right here. Let me kick this out. Oh! Yeah! I'll tell you why I'm harking so much on the Harley Davidson stuff. Listen to my dad talk about bikes, and he barely knows anything about them. It's one of the most infuriating and yet nostalgic things ever. My dad did everything he possibly could to make his bike as obnoxious
as possible.
Yeah, he had to have been disappointed in me. There's no other reason that a man would need to be viewed or to be seen with that machine other than I am just deeply unhappy with my living environment. My son is not fulfilling me. I'm gonna put it in loud pipes and Italian leather seats.
It's awesome.
That's why it's not hot. Fuck you. To achieve this, however, they're willing to spend a ludicrous amount of money for a noticeably slower bike. Sports bike riders feel that they get no respect from them, so they refuse to give it in return. There are many videos of Harley riders getting incredibly aggressive on the road, with most riders prematurely anticipating a tense encounter whenever they cross paths with one. That's what I love with Harley riders is they're sitting there and you'll be on the road. First off, they can never just have both hands. They're going down the road like this.
Are there some people who don't even put their hands on? They're just texting.
In many cases, passing a Harley on the road is a quick way to infuriate them and cause unnecessary confrontation. Many sports bike riders will upload videos of them getting cut off and flipping the bird for literally no reason. They simply don't want anyone to appear superior to them on the road. The peacocking there's a mutual respect, which first off, here's my thing. I don't like riding on the road with fucking motorcycles because I'm almost like I'm gonna be the statistic of the guy who fucking bashes into the back of one. I'm sitting there eating from a big fat disgusting fuck and I'm like, you know, eating a McRib. Oh, drop the thing. I look like the bike is like right here. My life's ruined. I've ruined someone else's life, but see, selfishly, I'm already like, well, there goes my life. Have you seen those things where people will be like, they get in a horrible wreck, they get up and they're like, I'm okay, and they just collapse because they got up and moved?
Oh yeah.
It's like organ failure or some shit. You know what? You never get that in
What?
Toyota Corolla.
That's true. That's
Can't
why.
pop a wheel in a Toyota Corolla.
Oh, ask the Saudis. They could do they could side.
And they're putting Middle Eastern music behind whatever Nick's saying.
They could. Have you seen them? They get their cars up on 2 wheels.
Oh yeah? Ask the Saudis. You would be a great Harley rider, dude.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Maybe we gotta look for a bike for me.
Oh well, let's go. We in this video. We're gonna go look for a bike for you. We like, what fucking bike would fit this man?
We're Harley Davidson. We're here to have Nick pick up a Harley. I'm getting a Harley.
If you look at this gentleman here, what kind of bike do you think he would be on? I'd be on like a fat boy. I look at him, he's a slender man. Feels weird seeing him on like a big. I don't see you on a big, like I don't see you on that guy.
You know, I don't really know how to answer that question, man.
In one video, a Harley rider gets so upset after a man on an e-bike makes a mistake on the road that he circles back to pass him by again while swinging around a chain like a madman. Well, that guy is waiting to use that chain.
Oh, yeah.
You don't carry around a chain not to be like, well, there it is. You just let loose the demon. The man filming notices that the back of his shirt says, fuck you. I have enough friends.
He wants trouble.
I want to say, here's another, can I get a hunter's tip right now? Hunter's tip. If you have any meme shirts like that, throw them away. Don't wear them. Don't gift them. Usually it's younger people be like, this would go great on grandpa. And he's like, look at that. He's walking around tucked into his jeans. I don't give a fuck what it says, bitch. That's the kind of person that's wearing this shit. Stories like these certainly make people hesitant to join in on the fun. Many people on the Harley community pages admit that while they've ridden for a long time, they feel discouraged from attending events because it seems that many of the participants treat it like an audition for a Sons of Anarchy background character and focus way too much on looking hard to the point where they side-eye and judge anyone that doesn't fit that vibe. Many are in complete agreement with this assessment. Other Harley owners admit that these people turn out for charity events and can put their energy to good use. Oftentimes, they're still incredibly insufferable as riders, which that was a big thing. Is I've seen that the more that I see bike riders, you know, I see them more for like charity shit. Bikers for
Cancer.
Bikers for cancer. We need to get cancer back in those kids. In reality, there are weird loyalists in every subgroup of motorcyclists. Many sports bike riders, for example, can be just as infuriating. This debate has been had for ages, and tons of riders always chime in to explain how the drama is obnoxious and that they're respectful to everyone regardless of what they ride. There are plenty of people who have greatly benefited from taking the plunge and buying a motorcycle. At 52 years old, Michelle Hatcher was feeling extremely depressed and had no purpose in life. Jesus. Goddamn, do we know Michelle personally? That's some serious shit to fucking lay down there. Goddamn. Knowing she needed to make a change, she went out on a limb and bought a motorcycle to pursue a lifelong dream of living on the open road. And immediately, she claimed to have felt like a kid again, and all of her previous troubles had gone away. Not only was it a way for her to get out of the house, but it was also boosted her confidence knowing she was taking control of her life. A year after she started riding, she discovered the Make Your Mark charity, which focuses on bikers' mental health. Relating to their cause, she joined and immediately fell in love with it. She joined groups and met many others like her, and now advocates for bikers' mental health through her own story, which is pretty nice. For a second, it was reading that she's like, I just went on the open road and left my troubles. I was like, did she just leave her family? She's just like, bye-bye, woo! But no, that's a nice little pot. See, it's just, but you and at least it boils down to is people just need someone to talk to.
Yeah, they
Isn't
need a
it?
group.
Any kind of, I feel like any kind of person where they're just like, man, I just fucking feel horrible. You need community. A lot of people are drawn to motorcycles for their look, but others, the base model is just not good enough. These people feel the need to add ridiculous modifications to make their rides more appealing. It's common for people to replace their motorcycle's stock exhaust with a third-party one, some with specific intention of making it as loud as humanly possible. My father. I'd be like, he was changing it one day, getting all fucking pissed off in the garage. It's like, what's going on? He's like, I'm changing this out. I'm like, well, what's the difference with it? And he's like, showed me the old exhaust. The old exhaust was like really long and this one's really short. I'm like, that one looks shorter. He's like, it's gonna be fucking loud. People are gonna fucking hear this 2 blocks down. And I was like, cool. All the other like middle-aged biker guys come down, they're like, my ass.
You think that's like almost like a mating call? Like if you got a loud bike, other bikers be like, oh, we got friends.
I think it was my dad desperately being like, I should have never gotten married and got kids. Divorce! I want a divorce where she doesn't take half. You keep the kids and all that. I get the house.
You
and
keep that half. You keep.
you keep. That's the half of myself I'm willing to let go. That's probably going to be a recurring theme in this. Is me trickling back and being like, huh. I feel like my father was probably very unhappy with where he was at.
That actually makes sense. If you want your bike to be as loud as possible, so when you scream, the bike.
Yeah, it covers the screams. Oh, there's Dad. He's just having fun in the garage again, weeping openly, 25 beer cans. Ah! He's trying to kill himself with the exhaust fumes. What are you doing here, Daddy? Close the fucking door! All right, Daddy, I love you. Yeah. Many bikers strongly discourage this type of stuff to avoid infuriating the general public. One man from a quiet neighborhood describes how his neighbor, who modified his Harley to be much louder, revs it in the garage for up to in his garage for up to an hour, even as late as 1 in the morning, so intensely that the vibrations shake his home. 1 in the morning. Oh yeah, Tyler. I know, baby. I know. Just hold on. Dad, go back to bed. Josh vibrates his whole home. If I was a kid, I'd be horrified.
I was at my friend's house, and that happened to me. His parents' buddies came over to show out their new hogs, and for an hour straight, we were just sitting out there, and they're just like, yeah, hear this, and they were just revving for an hour.
It's all he did was just rev for an hour. I had a buddy. He lived down the street from us, and his dad just got divorced from his wife. And like this was, I mean, like early 2000s, it was so popular. American choppers made it popular. There was a huge revival in the early 2000s. But then it was like, then as soon as every man got a divorce, they got a Harley. And the guy was just like drinking alone in his garage and just like revving it as loud as he could. That's immediately what made me, I'm like, I bet you my parents are gonna get a divorce soon. If I ever show up to work.
Oh, with a Harley?
With a Harley. Just know there are some papers that need to be signed. One of the most common and well-known modifications is the long handlebars, or as they call them in the biking community, ape hangers. I'm not gonna call them that though. I don't know if I like that. These handlebars can range anywhere from a foot to nearly 3 feet long, is usually found on Harleys. Many bikers claim they need the long handlebars to ride their bikes, or else they have severe shoulder pain and numbness in their hands. That's diabetes. Ape hangers are also a popular choice for fatter riders since the handlebars help extend their arms and prevent them from hunching their backs. Others don't see the appeal because they say they look fucking stupid and it fucks with like how you handle your bike, but I don't know, look at this guy. Look at this guy. I love it whenever it's literally like almost like a BDSM swing. Their feet are fully extended like this and their hands are up, so they're just like, yeah, just going on a ride. Hey, let me go down to Costco real quick.
What are you getting at Costco in your motorcycle?
What am I getting on Costco with my motorcycle? I'm gonna get the 5th season of The Office on DVD and some Totino's party pizzas. That legit, like that was already terrible. I guess if you're hanging on it, you're not actually keeping your weight up, but
I don't think. I feel like my arm would be dead.
I feel, what's wrong with this?
I guess you hurt your shoulder. You're a pussy.
Oh, yeah, how is this? That feels wonderful. On your shoulder, you say being a pussy. Well, only pussies ride with their hands down like that. Another ridiculous looking mod similar to ape hangers is the Extreme Rake. An Extreme Rake adds super long forks to the front of the bike, giving it more stability while sacrificing short turns. We don't need those. Though many classic choppers have made these modifications, many bikers don't recommend it. They're usually for more experienced bikers and only ever really appear in shows. They're not practical at all for the road, and they're impossible to use off-road. Dude, have you seen American choppers? That's what we do because it looks fucking badass. Remember Will Smith and the iRobot bike? Huh? Remember the Spider bike? Remember the 911 bike?
What?
There was a night they did like a firefighter bike for the 911 guys.
Oh, really?
Yeah. While radios are a standard feature in cars, radios and speakers on motorcycles are a controversial modification. Riding while listening to music can be a great experience. That is why so many bikers choose to buy helmets with built-in Bluetooth speakers. However, some people want to feel the wind through their hair and choose to put a radio and speakers on their bike. And many riders despise this and find it infuriating to be stuck at a light listening to their loud music. That's like one of the only things I love about bikers is pulling up and listening to what a biker's listening to. It's almost never what you expect it to be. What would you expect if you pulled up to you're driving up to a car or whatever, and you see a guy sitting there and you hear music coming in? What music do you think is coming in? If you're like looking at it, you're like, oh, he's listening to music.
Motley Crue. Some like hair rock from the 80s, right? Something like that. Anything else? Radiohead.
You think that a biker would be listening to radio? Okay, sure, we'll say Radiohead. I've heard almost every time that I've done it, it's been disco.
Oh, disco.
I've heard ABBA numerous times. Almost to the point where I'm like, these motherfuckers are like getting together being like, you like ABBA too? Some riders are incredibly unapologetic about it. Like a man that was caught sitting shirtless at a gas station, posting on his hog while blasting obnoxious music. This biker in particular noticed that he was being filmed and started stalking the car until he reached a parking garage where he had to hide before the altercation broke out. That's another reason too. You gotta watch out when filming people. I hate feeling like I'm being a nuisance.
Yeah.
But also, I don't want to film the wrong motherfucker. There's like a 14-year-old out there who could kill us. They have a 3D printed gun. That legitimately could be a thing. There's a 12-year-old out there who has probably 3D printed a gun. You're sitting there filming whatever. You filming me, motherfucker!
That almost happened. Well, I don't think it was a gun, but where I was filming like a Walking Dead kind of just for fun, and I went to a very low-income place.
Question. You were filming a Walking Dead. What does that mean?
Zombie like background. It was just for fun. I was trying to make a zombie. We could show some footage of it.
First off, get out what the fuck you're saying, but then also, I was filming a Walking Dead. It wasn't for anybody, it was for fun. So what you're saying is that you went to a poor neighborhood and filmed people and said they were zombies, is what you're saying. Is that what you're saying?
Just the buildings, like a post-apocalypse. We were doing like tech scout.
So you went to a low-income neighborhood and said this would be the perfect spot for a zombie apocalypse. Now, Nick, do you think that's a bit insensitive?
Now, yes. Yeah,
right.
Saying it. But anyways.
How old were you when you did this?
Oh, I was like in my 20s.
Yeah, try to give you an out there.
I anyways drove by, and then these guys noticed us, and they walked out, and they were anyways, they came up to the car. I was like, "What are you doing out here?" We're just like, "Oh, we're just filming for a zombie movie."
I think your neighborhood looks pretty dilapidated, like the apocalypse happened, and I think that'd be cool to film zombie stuff out here. Why are you mad? The music, according to a man who often attends Daytona Bike Week, is very often the same rotation. Tracks like Bad to the Bone, Sweet Home Alabama, and Born in the USA, which are the classics, right? Classic bike rider stuff. But I'm telling you, they're sprinkling in pop. That's a little spice, a little seasoning that goes on top of their classic rock, 60s rock, you know? Not all mods are just for looks or a few minor technical differences. Other more wild mods, like the Vibe Rider, helps passengers have a sexually euphoric experience on the road. Bet you didn't think we were going there, did you? If you've ever wanted to goon while riding your motorcycle, the Vibe Rider is the device for you. Built into the seat, the Vibe Rider is a remote-controlled vibrator that lets either the driver or the passenger control the vibration intensity for the low cost of $140.
See, this is what I need. Look at that girl. That's what I'm talking about.
So it's the thing, too, are they trying to sell to men, though, too?
Yeah, it's just like, get your girl on your hog.
I'm saying for the rider. If the rider's sitting there and he puts up his poop chute,
oh,
is that
no.
something that can stimulate? Can that stimulate your prostate, Nick?
Ooh, probably.
That's the guy going down the road. The little boy in the passenger seat of the fucking Winnebago driving by is just like hearing ABBA coming from the thing over. The company markets its product by having a booth at biker shows and rallies and letting riders test drive it. Ew.
Yeah, I don't like that.
What?
That was like when we went to that porn convention.
Yeah.
And they
It's
had
too
the
much.
little vibrator test so you could sit on it. I was like, you think you...
No. You did get whipped, though.
That's true. We can't show that because that got us demonetized in another video.
Did it actually?
Yeah.
You know what? There's definitely a thing about people that are that openly sexual. I'm not that kind of person. I was just uncomfortable the entire time.
I didn't do it for sexual reasons. I just did it for...
I just want to say I did not fight you to get on that thing. I looked over. I was like, "Where is he?" And I saw all of a sudden he's getting chained up on this thing. Film me. He's like completely on an X. He's like, I don't know. Film me, man. You filming? On their website, they have multiple test demos videos that show women both young and old enjoying the ride and telling their husbands they need one. I think I'm gonna need one of these. My panties are ruined. I'm gonna need one of them. Most of the people we've covered are casual riders. However, the biking community contains much more die-hard members, which you can often find within motorcycle gangs and clubs. Motorcycle clubs are a way for riders to form a community for group riding as well as hosting community events. Often, they've centered around a theme. It could be based on a bike brand or even a group consisting exclusively of veterans. Harley riders, veterans, furries, One Piece fans. I'm sure there's a One Piece fan motorcycle group. Put it up. There are also outlaw motorcycle clubs or gangs that are essentially criminal organizations that engage in trafficking, drugs, money laundering, and even abduction. So make sure to really just when you tell people I'm in a biker gang. Are you in a biker gang or are you just have a club?
Yeah, make sure you're not joining the right kind.
Yeah, make sure you're joining the right thing. They're sort of like fraternities. You're essentially paying dues to hang out with a group of men. And similar to a fraternity, you can't just join, you have to go through several stages. This means spending time with the members, getting them to vouch for you, and so on, so on. And when you're finally in, you're rewarded with your club's 3-piece patch display on your vest. Not all clubs are joining just to look tough and boost their ego. Many of them are down-to-earth, passionate people who just want to make an impact in their community while sharing a hobby they care about. In fact, many motorcyclists love to give back to their community. The Patriot Guard Riders are a nonprofit group that rides alongside veterans' caskets in funeral processions in order to honor them as well as show their respect for their loved ones, which is just a nice thing to do, right? I've heard there's a lot of people who don't have a lot of family members left. Just shows respect and it shows that people, you're honoring a life that happened. On more than one occasion, people have praised the group for breaking up war protests taking place at veterans' burials. Baka, just kidding, please don't just put that out. The BACA, or Bikers Against Child Abuse, supports children who are victims of abuse by welcoming them into their organization and assigning each child 2 members who act as protectors and resources for anything they may need. Kind of like a Big Brother program. While some of these stories are pretty absurd, most bikers seem to be pretty respectful people who are just trying to enjoy a relaxing hobby, as is the most case with everything we talk about, right? We have to keep reiterating this shit or else people fucking get pissed off. In most cases, you just try to mind your own business and not let the aggressive and performative weirdos ruin it for you. And of course, you can never control how some of these people react, so just do your best to be safe and not get engaged with the wrong crowd, guys. But hey, rev it up for all the homies out there. Row, row, row. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Welcome back to the Papa Meat channel. How you doing? Come on in and sit on down because today we are talking about inventors completely destroyed by their own inventions. And what I mean by that is inventors who are killed by their own creations. A weird concept and a tragic one at that. You make something to give to the world and it's your ultimate demise. Very Shakespearean in nature, but also very fascinating. And I think it trickles back to one of the first accounts that I think we all know and love, which is Icarus. Icarus is a Greek mythological tale about you flew too close to the sun and you get burned, right? They're in this prison cell, Icarus and his dad, who gives a shit what his name is. They make wings out of feathers in their pillows and they're able to fly away. But Icarus flies too close to the sun, the glue melts and he falls to the sea and dies. Tragic. But to think that this could be conceptualized into real life and that this thing could happen to their real inventors is nothing short of awesome. I mean, it really is. I'm not going into the list saying that all of these deaths are awesome because it's not. It's very tragic and sad, but the irony is pretty funny. We're just gonna look at some of the inventions. Maybe you have some of these inventions in your home. Or maybe not. The first guy that we're talking about is Perilos of Athens. Dude died in 550 BCE. Don't think anybody has this gadget at home, but it's still fun to say, needless, whatever. Perilos of Athens was a sculptor, and he made the brazen bull as a way to execute criminals. Remember, we've talked about this part. The guy who sculpted the brazen bull was inevitably put into it and killed him. That is insane. According to legend, Perilos was the first to be roasted in the brazen bull. Not only was he killed by it, he was the first. That is a bad turnaround for a commission. Well, imagine sculpting this and they're just like, all right, get on in there. It's like, nah, I'm okay. They're like, no, seriously, get in the bowl. A bit boastful and proud while explaining the torture device's functions, Perilos thought he may receive an award for his invention. Instead, this angered and disgusted Phalaris, and he tricked Perilos inside the bowl. That seems rude. Which, if you don't remember, they put a fire under the bronze bowl here, but there's like a trumpet inside of the chamber that goes up and through the mouth so people can hear the screams through the bowl. And the first person to ever do that was the guy who invented the fucking thing, who was so boastful about it too. He's like, no, seriously, the screams are loud as shit. It's awesome. Why did that anger him? Just too cocky?
It sounded like the guy was just being arrogant. Like, look at this cool torture device.
He's like, I'm gonna get an award. People are gonna hate this thing. Give me money. Give me an award, please. Which also, according to legend, after a body was charred, the scorched bones of the deceased supposedly shone like jewels, and bracelets were made of the remains. Perilos was killed inside the burning of the bowl, and his body was then thrown off a cliff. That seems a bit excessive. He was already burned inside a giant sculpture he made. I would have just like, I don't know, put him in a dumpster. Thrown off a cliff feels a bit overdramatic, and that's probably a Greek tragedy. I doubt that happened. But I hope the guy actually did make it, because that's fucking hilarious. On to the next one, which was Wan Hu, a 16th century Chinese official considered to be the world's first astronaut. Apparently, Hu is said to have attempted to launch himself into outer space in a chair with 47 rockets attached, and with a kite in his hand. I love the optimism. That's like some Dr. Seuss levels of optimism. I feel like a lot of Dr. Seuss's creations, he's just like, well, you've never even heard of Wan Hu, have you? Unfortunately, the rockets exploded. He and his chair were never seen from again, and the crater Wan Hu on the far side of the moon is named after him. That's pretty insane. Not only is he considered the first astronaut, but also, I mean, like, jackass kind of thing. That's kind of like a jackass vibe, right? You have to give the guy credit for fucking putting 47 rockets, fireworks, basically, on the side of a... on the side of a chair and just being like, I'll see you when I get back from Mars. And he just immediately goes up and explodes. Thank God there's never been any other recording of astronauts blowing up. Don't play that because we'll actually get in trouble. Next up, we have Li Si and the 5 Punishments. These are fucking brutal names, dude. You know what's the problem is with this list so far too is that after this, the names they're not gonna hold up. It's gonna be like Greg Jones and the Spoon or something like that. Li Si and the 5 Punishments in 208 BC. It's a great fucking picture too. It's a really good picture. Motherfucker looks pouty. Li Si is credited as one of the most important figures in Chinese history. I don't know why, but that felt very dramatic. He was a chancellor of the ancient country for 4 decades. That's 40 years. Above all, Li Si is credited with pacifying China's enemies, both internal and external, by showing aggression in pivotal moments. He invented the brutal torture named the 5 Punishments to instill some of that rule with a big stick mindset. In 208 BC, Li Si was charged with treason after trying to prevent Fusu from becoming the next emperor, even though the recently deceased emperor Qin Shi Huang had chosen him. My God, the betrayal. The drama. The prestige. Let's read on. As punishment, Li Si was subjected to the 5 Punishments. His face was tattooed, his nose was cut off, his legs and feet were bound, hammered, and then amputated. His genitals were cut off, and finally, he was sliced in half at the waist. God damn. All because he's just like, that guy should be emperor over there. I heard him say it. They're just like, 5 punishments! Like, I'm up just fucking immediately. He was chosen, and he's like, I was told by a pretty good guy that recently died, guys. Can we at least agree on that? And everyone's like, yeah. He said that I was supposed to be emperor. So they just take a butter knife and cut off his nose right there. My boy Li Si he didn't deserve that, dude. I can't even imagine somebody cutting off this boy's nose and his fucking balls and shit. And then he just cut him in half. Seems just all a bit excessive. But finally we get into the 1000s AD. And that's Ismail ibn Hamad al-Jawari. I don't think I said that right. A Muslim Kazakh Turkic scholar, a lexicographer, and a writer. His magnum opus was an Arabic dictionary with over 40,000 entries, okay? The title translated to The Crown of Language and the Correct Arabic. That is my book.
And he attempted to fly using 2 wooden wings and a rope. Now, let me tell you something. The year is 1010 when he died. Icarus' story kind of new in relative terms. My boy should have just kept writing. It is possible he might have been experiencing delusions that he was a bird. That's a heavy piece of information. Do we know if he was completely psychotic or not? Also, who the fuck is writing this? It's 1010. What guy is like, by the way, he also thought he was a bird. And he's like writing that in a scroll, and he's like, okay, pull that up and put that here. Someone's gonna find that someday. So there you go. He leapt from a roof of a mosque in Nishapur, and he fell to his death. Who let him up there with giant weight? If this is an accurate drawing here, who let him up there? He must have been sane. He had to have some kind of rationality to where he's just like, no, let me jump. And they're just like, I really think that's a bad idea. And he's like, Icarus who? And he just jumps off immediately and dies. All right, here we go. See, exactly. First boring name, dude. James Douglas, 1580. Oh, God, here we go. He was the 1st Earl of Morton, a Scottish aristocrat, and an inventor. In 1564, the city of Edinburgh invited inventors to present ideas for clean, efficient killing machines. That's a conference I wish I could go to. We just went to SHOT Show in Vegas, and that shit was boring.
Was the AVN more of a torture device?
The AVN was more of a torture device, I will say. There's a video of my good friend, my dearest editor, my right-hand man on this channel, Nick, getting whipped at the AVNs. Maybe we can show a brief second of that.
This cannot be the healthiest workplace environment video to have.
That's going to be in a court case later down in my life. Douglas brought the Maiden, an early type of guillotine that could cut off someone's head in one clean stroke. In 1580, Douglas was charged as an accessory to murder and was condemned to death. Who was surprised by that? James Douglas was he was a part of a murder? Well, he's an inventor of death machines. He's not a madman. And as a cruel joke, the Maiden was used to behead and kill Douglas. That is kind of funny. This is one of the times where I'm like, okay, the court was funny with that one. Fuck it. Use his own machine to do it. James Douglas is like, no, not my own machine. You think he talked to it? It's like laying there and he's like, don't do it, my love. Eyewitness accounts say the device worked rather well. Douglas was killed instantaneously. That's weird. That is weird. I like how people were like, my God, he was a good inventor. Look at that. That was a clean cut. His body was buried in an unmarked grave, though his loose head was put on a spike outside the city gates and stayed there for 18 months. If I was going to get beheaded, I would want my head put up there. It's kind of cool. Except Game of Thrones taught me that people like throw shit at it. But you know, a lot of cool people were put in unmarked graves. Mozart was in an unmarked grave. The best musician to ever live, James Douglas. They're in hell just like you and I are one and the same. Next up, we have Henry Winstanley, 1703. That is not an attractive man. This painting does not do him justice. Brown hair with a brown background and a brown gown. What the hell kind of color scheme was that? How would you put some goddamn color in it? Good Lord. He was an English painter and inventor. Winstanley designed and built the world's first offshore lighthouse. That's fucking sweet. He had grown tired of losing his ships at sea and sought to solve the problem. It took him 3 years to build. First off, what a crazy problem. How many ships did he lose? All these goddamn ships are getting lost. I'm going to put a building right in the ocean, and we're going to make a big fire. It shoots out so people can't get lost. It's a pretty good idea. You think people probably made fun of him? Really, Henry? A castle on an island? You're so foolish. For 5 years, no ship was lost due to the lighthouse's help. All right, there you go. He was so proud of it and sure of its safety, he boasted that he could shelter inside it during the greatest storm there ever was. He took refuge in the lighthouse during the Great Storm of 1703, but the lighthouse was completely destroyed, and Winstanley plus other 5 men that accompanied him were never found. That was kind of a dumb bet. Also, how do they know that there was going to be a big-ass storm coming? The clouds just shifted, and he's just like, fine, I'm going to camp overnight, and I'm going to be fine. Didn't happen. What if he was just like, I don't want to deal with boats anymore, I'm leaving. Puts a C4 at the bottom of his lighthouse and just blows. Next up, we have Jean-Francois Pilatre de Rosière in 1785. I definitely didn't say that right. He was French. In 1783, Jean-Francois made the first untethered manned balloon flight. I know this is not going to end well. In 1783, a man named Jean-Francois did the first untethered manned balloon flight. He made multiple successful flights and even took the skies in front of the French king, which made him a major celebrity in France and inspired others to want to come up with ways to fly longer distances. All right, I thought it was a one and done deal, but no, he's had his time. But tragically, in 1785, he made history again, credited as the first known air crash fatality. Jean-Francois crashed his invention, the Rosière balloon, on June 15, 1785, while trying to cross across the English Channel. Damn, fucking France to the English Channel. It's not like the longest thing, but by balloon? You have to have balls. Also, how weird would that look? As an upshot, the modern hot air balloon, which uses a combination of hot air and helium, is named the Rosier balloon in his honor. It continues to be used today. How sweet. He was the first guy to do it and the first one to die. That is funny. Next up, we have Robert Cocking, 1837. And he was a 61-year-old British watercolor artist. And after seeing the first parachute jump in England in 1802, he felt inspired to improve on the design. Bit narcissistic. All right, there's your downfall. The parachute design used an inverted cone, 107 feet in circumference, connected by 3 hoops. Look at that. Robert Cocking in watercolor form. Who commissioned this watercolor? So he's flying, and then we're going to see him. He's going to be dying. Here, he's falling to earth. Great build on him, though. My God. You know what it kind of looks like is the flying saucer in Up. Or, did you say Up? I meant Nope. He was not a professional scientist and had no parachuting experience. Attaboy, Cocking, attaboy. On July 24th, 1837, Cocking died testing his homemade parachute. He failed to include the weight of the parachute in his calculations, thus he fell too quickly. Oh, that is tragic. Cocking was instantly killed in the crash. Tests carried out by John Wise showed that Cocking's design would have worked if it was better constructed and larger. That is tragic. Someone had to have been there to see that, right? There was a crowd of people watching him, and he's just like, here I go, and just like... After Cocking's death, parachuting became unpopular. Oh, really? And mostly seen in carnival and circus acts until the late 19th century. I kind of think parachuting should still be unpopular. The fact that if you fold the parachute wrong, you're dead. Too much responsibility. Especially it's like families own that shit. Kids fold the things and put the backpacks in there. Isn't that weird? But of course, it's nothing compared to William Bullock in 1867. He was an American. He's one of us. Mr. Bullock's main invention was the Webb rotary press. It was a huge advancement to the publishing industry at the time in 1863. Its design was an improvement on Richard March Rowe's original press created 20 years earlier. The main difference was that this printing press self-adjusted and automatically loaded large amounts of paper into rollers. Ooh, baby. In 1867, Bullock was installing one for the Philadelphia Public Ledger newspaper when his leg got jammed in the machine. Oh, God. The injury he suffered there led to gangrene, and Bullock died during his amputation operation. Man, I'll tell you what, getting a fucking leg amputated in the 1800s, especially in America, holy shit. Motherfuckers did not wash their hands back then, all right? Man, what a pathetic way to die, too. That's just so sad. Oh, got my leg jammed, and then it's like... He's like, all right, it hurts, it does. All right, I'm gonna lose my leg. Okay. And he gets fucking gangrene. Absolutely brutal. We leave the 1800s with Otto Lilienthal in 1896. If this motherfucker dies from flying again, I'm going to... He was a German inventor known as the Flying Man. That shit should have ended with the fucking Wano. He painstakingly studied the wings of a white stork as research for his invention designs. Created the first controllable glider. He had over 2,000 successful flights. No wonder he was labeled the Flying Man. Good lord. In 1893, Otto flew for a record-breaking distance of 250 meters. And in 1896, while flying to break his own record, Lilienthal fell over 50 feet from the air to his death. Breaking his neck, he was rushed to the hospital where he died shortly after. And his famous last words were, "Sacrifices must be made." That is fucking awesome. And with a broken neck, too. His like neck's all bent up, and he's like, "Sacrifices must be made." And he's like, oh, shit. With his inventions and studies, he pioneered the aerodynamic phenomenon known as the heavier-than-air flight, which led to the conception of the fixed-winged aircraft. Unlike Icarus, Otto knew what he was doing, and he is widely remembered as the father of flight, and is credited by the Wright brothers' main inspiration. This is probably the only positive one so far. Sacrifices must be made. Sacrifice. Unschensblach. It's me trying to speak German. In respect, of course. It doesn't matter. Franz Reichelt in 1912. I love that we're getting pictures now. This dude looks like a vampire hunter. That is a crisp photo for 1912. Known as the Flying Tailor. Here we go again. Reichelt was testing a coat parachute he had designed. He fell to his death leaping from the deck of the Eiffel Tower. All right, that's kind of funny. His parachute seemed to have only opened halfway and folded around him immediately. He fell for a few seconds before striking the frozen soil at the foot of the tower, and it was reported that his right leg and arm were crushed, his skull and spine broken, and that he was bleeding from the mouth, nose, and ears. He was already dead by the time onlookers arrived. During an autopsy, it was concluded that Reichelt died of a heart attack during his fall. That is insane. He's like, That is fucking insane. People are like, it's beautiful. He would have just been like dead floating, which that would have been pretty sick too. Reichelt was trying to create a way for pilots to survive a fall out of an aircraft. Reichelt had promised the authorities that he would use a dummy, but at the last moment, he strapped himself into the garment and jumped off in front of a camera crew. To get wrapped up in that would suck. To have a heart attack and then plummet to your death also would be equally as tragic. But next up, we also have Thomas Andrews, 1912. I think a couple people might know who Thomas Andrews is because he was a British businessman and shipbuilder. He was the naval architect in charge of the plans for the Titanic. He was on the maiden voyage that hit the iceberg and sank. Andrews, along with 15 other passengers on board, died, and his body was never found. Supposedly, Andrews asked for another row of lifeboats to be installed. This was rejected. Had it not been, there would have been enough emergency accommodations to save every passenger and crew member on the ship, which I'm pretty sure he's in the movie. So just want to put that in there. The actor who's in Legally Blonde with Reese Witherspoon. It's her creepy old professor that wants to fuck Reese Witherspoon, and she rejects him, and she doesn't give him the promotion. But it's okay because Luke Wilson, who's Owen Wilson's brother, comes in. And he has a really bad haircut, and he finger fucks Reese Witherspoon later and gives her a job, and she wins. It's that actor. Next up, Francis Edgar Stanley, 1918. He was an American businessman and co-founder of Stanley Motor Carriage Company. Dude, I missed just the phrase carriage. It's a motor carriage. He was in business with his twin brother, Freeland Oscar Stanley. And after selling their photography business for $500,000, they started a steam car manufacturing company. They founded in 1897 and built a car that same year, and it became a hit among with wealthy automobile enthusiasts. In 1906, their steam car, the Rocket, broke the land speed record, reaching the speed of 127 miles per hour. Which is what a 2006 Honda Civic could do today. But it is very impressive still for back then. Put up a picture of a car that can do that. We've come a long way. And in 1918, though, Francis was killed while driving a Stanley Steamer automobile. He drove his car into a wood pile after attempting to avoid farm wagons traveling side by side on the road. I started laughing there, but it was just because it's kind of goofy. And I picture like old-timey sounds like he's like, get your wagons out of the way! What? Like with their horses?
You think he's going 127?
I don't. Yeah. I bet you he was going 35 miles an hour and still he was like, ah! Speed wobbles. No! Alexander Bogdanov, 1928. I feel like I've heard his name before. Russian polymath, revolutionary, and pioneer hematologist. Which a polymath is a person with a wide-ranging knowledge of many subjects. Wow, what a fucking... I'm going to boast it. I know a lot of things about over the course of many areas. We're going to call that a polymath. He was a physician, philosopher, science fiction writer, made advancements in blood transfusion, and made important contributions to cybernetics. Jesus Christ, dude. Was this fucking Tony Stark? Goddamn. Founded the first Institute of Blood Transfusion in 1926. Uh-oh. After carrying out an experimental blood transfusion between himself and 21-year-old student who had an inactive case of tuberculosis, Bogdanov believed the younger man's blood would rejuvenate his aging body. Which... Who does that sound like, right? Little YouTuber that's on YouTube right now? Little $1 million man? Is the YouTube vampire a polymath? Maybe. And that his own blood would help cure the student's disease. He believed his body was resistant to tuberculosis. He died from an acute hemolytic transfusion reaction. This is a serious complication during transfusions. The red blood cells that were given during the transfusion are destroyed by the person's immune system. Basically, he make blood transfusion tube and it kills him. And he was a very important man who knew a lot of things. In 1930, we get introduced to Max Valier. He was a member of the 1920s German Rocket Society. And Valier was so enthralled with rockets' potential, how it could one day fuel astronauts to the moon. He decided to showcase the power and awe to the public. He wanted to excite the public and also draw funding for his own projects and research. He fitted rail cars, sleds, gliders, and most notably, race cars with rockets for these public demonstrations. That's awesome. I would have been there. You want to see a guy drive one of the steam automobiles with a rocket attached? I'd be like, okay, it's 1930s. I have literally nothing else going on. I'm eating bread. I'd say, sure, I'm just eating bread. I'll go with you. For Max, safety came secondary. What a badass. Valier wore no goggles and no fire retardant clothing. Instead of sitting behind a concrete wall looking through a small slit window, he sat right in front of the combustion chamber with his face fully exposed to the flames shooting upwards. There was very little prior research and no funding, so he was forced to rely on luck. He invented a liquid-fueled rocket engine, and on the 17th of May, 1930, his luck ran out. An alcohol-fueled engine exploded on his test bench in Berlin, causing a piece of shrapnel to pierce his pulmonary artery, and Max Valier died in 10 minutes. He was 35 years old. I laugh because I'm just imagining the slit in the wall and the flames coming through. Okay, I'm sorry. Making him one of the first casualties of the modern space age. That's not true. One who blew himself up with rockets on a fucking folding chair. Max was just kind of like, I guess I'll stand here. You know what I mean? I want to see Max Valier's rocket car. This is sick. That this kind of insight. I want to meet some guy like this, dude. Guy's just like, I'm just gonna make this. It is kind of funny looking at driving. Looks like a big cock on the road. Ding, 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 ding. Riding around. We have Marie Curie in 1934. God, she's hot. This one is indirect, but Polish-French physicist and chemist Curie was a pioneer in researching radioactivity. She won Nobel Prizes for her work in physics and chemistry, making her the first woman to win the award. Not only that, she was the first person to win the award twice, and is the only person to have the award in 2 different fields. She's a fucking badass. She's credited for discovering radioactive polonium, also for coining the term radioactivity. That's pretty fucking brutal. If you're the person who's just like, it's called radioactivity, that's awesome. Though, for her efforts, it is believed her long exposure to radiation is what led to her death in 1934, technically of aplastic anemia, but because of the many devices she created. And in a way, even her death was a discovery because Curie herself never acknowledged the radioactivity's toll on her health, and after her daughter, and her son-in-law all died researching the same thing, it became more clear that the radiation was harmful to your health and could cause diseases, which you know. She died at 66 in 1934, so she's, pretty long time for that kind of thing. Next up is Thomas Midgley Jr., 1944. Jesus Christ, this fucking drawing is haunting. He was an American engineer and chemist who created 2 chemicals that did the most environmental damage. Leaded gasoline, which released large quantities of lead into the atmosphere. This has been linked with neurological impairment and increased levels of violence. And Freon, a refrigerant that destroyed the ozone layer and caused greenhouse gas effects. All right, dude, my boy Thomas, he made some cool stuff, but they might have done some bad things, all right? He contracted polio at age 51, leaving him severely disabled. He devised an elaborate system of ropes and pulleys so that others could lift him from the bed, but he became entangled in the ropes one day and died of strangulation at 55. Yeah, I figured. That's pretty funny that you would think that it was going to be like he blew up from gas or something. It's like, no, he's like, I have an elaborate pulley system. And he just got strangled by it. That's fucking brutal. Next is Henry Smolinski from 1973. He was the creator of the AVE Mitsar, a flying vehicle that was half a Ford Pinto and half a Sensa Skymaster. During a test flight, the Mitsar's right wing detached mid-flight. The aircraft disintegrated after taking off and making a right turn. It was the sole product of the company he founded. The one thing he was supposed to sell disintegrated and it fucking blew up in his deal. I do want to see the flying Pinto here. That's insane. That is actually so sick. Oh, I would not get in that back seat. Oh, where are you going? How would you ever regulate flying vehicles like that? You know what I mean? It would be impossible. There you go. Carol Sukik, 1985. Canadian inventor, daredevil, and stuntman. He referred to himself as the last of the Niagara daredevils, and he invented a shock-absorbent barrel. I know where this is going now. Goddamn. Sukik had already gone down Niagara Falls in the barrel and survived. This made him the 8th person to go down the Niagara Falls in a barrel at that time, and not all of them survived. He was just one of the lucky ones. But now, Sukik wanted to expand upon the stunt. He wanted to drop himself from 180 feet from the top of the Houston Astrodome and land in a pool of water, where he would emerge unscathed, to truly prove his barrel was protecting him. It didn't go as planned, and the barrel hit the rim of the tank before making it to the water. Miraculously, Sukik survived the impact, but died soon after. Here is Sukik at the Astrodome. Oh, here he goes. Whee! Well, that's a bummer. That'd be pretty fucked up too, because you can't even see when you're falling. You know what I mean? Next up, we have probably one of the greatest legends to ever live on this earth, and that's Marvin Haymeyer in 2004. Marvin Haymeyer was an American automobile muffler repair shop owner and professional welder. He became disgruntled after multiple back and forths of zoning rights, sewage line discussions, and plans to build a concrete plant next to his shop. His anger continued to manifest. He modified a bulldozer with firearms and armor composed of cement and steel before embarking on the Killdozer rampage as revenge against his city, which was in Colorado, by the way. The Killdozer had 3 gun ports, fitted for a 50 caliber rifle and a 308 caliber semi-automatic rifle and a 22 caliber rifle, all fitted with a 1/2-inch steel plate. Haymeyer unalived himself after his vehicle became lodged inside the basement of a building he attempted to demolish. As Haymeyer had no way of exiting the Killdozer after sealing himself in, the authorities have speculated that the unaliving was an inherent feature of the vehicle's design. Once he tipped that lid shut, he knew he wasn't getting out. And inside the tank also had AC, 3 handguns, and enough food and water to last a week. The Killdozer rampage did over $7 million in damages to the city. The attack lasted 2 hours and 7 minutes, damaging 13 buildings, 11 of which were occupied until moments before their destruction. Many town records and archives were destroyed along with the town hall, though no one except Haymeyer was injured during the incident. The man was not having it, is all I gotta say. And in a way, you know what? He's like a bit of a vigilante. Only the people that fucked him over got their shit destroyed, all right? And to be fair, the 50 caliber gun was a bit excessive. Marv, I don't think anybody deserved to die, but I do do think it's funny that he destroyed all their businesses. I just wanted to say that. Next up, we have Luis Jimenez from 2006. He was an American sculptor and graphic artist. Jimenez had a string of bad luck that eventually accumulated in his death. As a child, his eye was shot by a BB gun. Surgeries corrected his vision, but migraines later in life led him to get a glass eye. Jimenez was an art teacher at a junior high school and got into a car accident that left him temporarily paralyzed from the chest down. In his later years, he had a heart attack and required a hand surgery. But on June 13th, 2006, a large piece of his 32-foot high art piece, which was a blue Mustang, came loose, fell, severing an artery in his leg. The sculpture was later finished after his death and delivered to the Denver International Airport, which is like a really popular thing now, which is also associated with the Denver airport having all kinds of weird stuff going on. And now even the blue Mustang itself is kind of like an art, it's like an evil arbiter. We might do a video on the Denver airport, but there's some freaky shit going on there. All right, just want to say that. Next up, we have Jim Heselden, 2010. My God, that picture is haunting. Good Lord. Although Heselden was not the inventor of the Segway, he bought Segway Incorporated, and he died while driving a Segway. So you have to throw him on this list, right? Heselden was an English entrepreneur. He was a former coal miner, and he became wealthy manufacturing the Hesco Bastion Barrier System. And on the morning of September 26, 2010, Heselden was out on a walk with his dog, and he reversed his Segway to let another dog walker pass and accidentally fell off a cliff. At the unfortunate time of his death, he was ranked inside the top 400 of the Sunday Times rich list with an estate worth of 340 million British pounds. He's out there on the little cliff retreat riding a Segway, and on the kindness of his heart, he backed off right off a cliff. Segways are not that fun to ride too. I just want to put that out there. It's like riding a vacuum cleaner. That's what it feels like to me. And lastly, we have Stockton Rush from 2023. If you don't know this one, I don't know what, you must have not have had a phone, because Stockton Rush oversaw the design and construction of the Ocean Gate submersible Titan. The craft imploded during a dive to ironically visit the Titanic. That is extremely ironic. That's also two people that have very similar deaths on this list, except one of them fucking imploded. All right, at least Andrews didn't. I'm pretty sure his name was Andrews. At least he didn't implode. Many warned Rush of his flawed design and his mixing of materials, but he remained staunchly in his unregulated design. He said, and I quote, "At some point, safety is just pure waste. I mean, if you just want to be safe, don't get out of bed. Don't get in your car. Don't do anything." End quote. That seems a bit unrealistic. Don't get out of bed? Pretty sure that just because you get out of your bed doesn't mean you're gonna go to the bottom of the ocean and a goddamn Texas Instruments calculator that's gonna implode on itself, all right? And, you know, it obviously didn't go very well, and there's been, I don't know, a billion different videos of people dissecting what it would be like to be in that fucking sarcophagus imploding. It is absolutely sad. But what does this list teach us? 1, don't invent anything, because your inventions will kill you. Number 2, if you know somebody who invented something and they want you to use it, don't do that. And number 3, if a guy tells you that he's gonna take you to see the Titanic and everyone's like, you really shouldn't go, I really think that you probably shouldn't go. And number 4, Juan Hu was the man. If you have a folding chair and you strap 47 rockets to it and you have a kite and you think you're going to the moon, that's awesome. And also there's a literal crater on the moon that's named after him. That's fucking metal. There's a lot of good ones on here, but too much flying stuff. If you know anybody who's like into flying and they're not on a plane, don't get rid of them. All right, just want to say that's a bad friend. You don't want that friend. But with that, that's the end of today's video, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.
Welcome back to the Papa Meat channel. How you doing? How you doing? Come on, sit down, because today we're talking about my least favorite thing in the universe. This is not me paraphrasing. This is not me putting on a show, a spectacle. Today we're talking about cave diving. I know, it might seem odd that a large, obese, middle-aged man wouldn't like to crawl into a tiny little dark corridor. No, I'm claustrophobic as shit. And these videos online of people cave diving, I have so much anxiety. I can't watch it. I cannot watch it. Like, one of the scariest horror movies to me is The Descent, just because of the cave diving aspect. The little goblin inbred mutant people, that's all cool. It's metal or whatever, but them getting stuck down there, no. Don't like that. Adrenaline junkies have some of the most intense hobbies on the planet, whether it's skydiving, volcano boarding, which what the f is that, or train surfing, like the app. People will do just about anything to chase that high, the high of that point right at death's door, and you pull back. Oh, could have died. Because of this, we've seen an increase in one particular extreme sport, which is caving or cave diving. Caves have always interested mankind, but as we move more into the modern age, we stray further and further away from our Stone Age roots, as in, that was millions of years ago. Why are we still fucking around caves? We have McDonald's. Just gonna say that again. We have McDonald's. There's no reason to be in the caves.
We have indoor rock climbing now.
We have indoor rock climbing. Go to the plastic fun coloring rock climbing walls. Some people, however, find it exciting to find and explore various caves across the world. What deters most people, as you would expect, is the tight squeezes and isolating darkness and the inevitable death and the coffin-like sensation. I'm not going to keep going on, but I can see where people are like, uncharted territory. No person has crawled through here. The only people that have crawled through here are snakes, rats, and ghouls. And now me, Terry. I'm one with the ghouls and the snakes. Cool, dude. You're awesome, Terry. Thousands of people partake in this hobby, but some people never come out. So grab some spare batteries and knee pads as we unearth the dark, dangerous world of cave diving.
I think I'm stuck.
I'm stuck.
You're good. You're good.
The first question that people ask when learning about this bizarre hobby is, and I don't blame them, one word, Nick. Why on God's green earth would you do that? And the obvious answer is that it's the adrenaline rush. It's the near-death experience. It's about conquering something that has not been conquered, yada, yada, yada. But many cavers have a long list of reasons as why it appeals to them specifically. Some say that it's a good way to work out the body. We have gyms! There's a trail, a beautiful trail, walk on that! While others claim that the intense risks and challenges build strong bonds with other like-minded people, aka it's like being in an asylum, but in a cave. You make friends with other crazy people. You're making a lot of sense, Terry. Ghouls and snakes. That's what we are. And they're all like, and they crawl into a hole. I don't get it, Nick. I don't get it. Certain hobbyists say they do it for the thrill of exploration and being the first to see what lies beneath the Earth's surface. One cave diver explains, and I quote, "You see a tiny hole big enough for your body to fit through, and you wonder what's on the other side." That's the first thing that comes to your mind? Imagine just seeing a hole, and you're just like, what could be down there? I can fit down there. I want to go down there.
Oh God, I can't.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on. Wait. Legs in the air kicking. Oh God. The ultimate achievement in a caver's career is when they push through one of those tiny passes and discover a huge cavernous space on the other side, never before discovered. Which I will say, things of this nature that are so extreme, that would be like a huge load. That would be a huge nut busted. Right? That is an actual conquer of mental and physical proportions that I have not done. I get excited when I finish a Lego set. That's my load. Okay? My load is a Lego set. All right? So climbing, I do have respect for people that are that mentally ironclad, but they scare me as people. I'm like, that person, I don't know where he's going to be in 10 years. I think negative thoughts. I don't know. I'm sorry.
He's gonna live in the caves.
If you like it so much, why don't you just live down there? What if every cave diver's house was a series of tunnels? Hungry, need to get a snack.
And they burrow like a mole rat.
You go to take a piss and get a glass of juice. I can't turn around. Give me your torch. Give me your torch. Your aunt is dead in the corner. Aunt Brenda? You went to go get juice too? That would actually be a great, like a creepypasta story.
Yeah, the cave house.
Yeah. My dad might have taken his hobby a little too far or whatever.
There you go. Write it. Write it, fans. Write.
Yeah. Mine. I gotta write it. The most insane part is that some people do it simply to test their mental fortitude, as the closed spaces and darkness truly test the mind's limits. One cave diver named Jacob Sanders told of how he was once stuck in a deep crevice on his belly inside a cave. He said that he had to strip down to his underwear just to fit through the tunnel. Not only that, but he had to use just his toes to inch himself along. The entire time, his back was getting shredded by the rocky ceiling. And once he got through, however, he claimed that it was an amazing experience. You basically just went through a giant cheese grater. Your back is torn to smithereens. You got piss in your underwear. You're standing there, shoes untied. That was awesome.
I'm guessing that feeling is like you're alive, right? Because you're.
Oh
Like,
my God, there
yeah.
has to be, that has to be the biggest dopamine. Also, in a weird way, I might be overstretching this, but it could be a thing you appreciate every day.
Yeah.
Way more. But then see, it's the thing, it's like getting a tattoo or something where it's like once you get one, so it's like once you go and you come out, you're like, I gotta have that again.
So they keep doing it.
It's like a drug. The first time that you probably overcome that, you're probably like, oh my God. You probably are like, I didn't know I could do that. All this newfound confidence, life is brighter, but it's like the extremes those caves must go. Because then now you're all
pretzeled up in a fucking deal, and you're like, this is boring. It has to be tight. It gets tighter and tighter until I feel like there are people that push it too far and they get themselves killed.
And then they say, fuck, I shouldn't have done this.
Oh God, if I get out of here, this is gonna be so epic.
Do you think some people are hard, like while they're stuck like that?
If there is not a hard cave diver, then there are none at all. Because they always thought it was like, yeah, I feel like that's why they focus. Yeah, my back was scraping up the thing because their cock has been getting shredded to pieces the entire time. Oh. Yeah, they call their cocks farmer thumbs because they're all calloused and shit. Or watch out, farmer thumb coming in. It's a good harvest. Good harvest. Whatever it is, there is something that draws people to the underground. And this addiction is not something new. The term spelunking grew in popularity around the 1950s as a way to describe basic cave exploration. And since then, cave diving has exploded from an amateur hobby into a global industry. Caves are now national tourist attractions protected by federal laws, and thousands of people each year travel to receive guided tours and even eat inside cafeterias built deep underground. There are also jobs that go beyond tour guides. Geologists work tirelessly to preserve the caves, and even NASA scientists go into them to collect data on the caves to help future missions to Mars. The number of explorable caves has exploded, and the community has come up with many odd names for certain caverns, caves, and more. Names such as Beelzebub's hairy ring piece. That's the devil. Orgy Hole Passage. And of course, you can't forget Fat Man's Misery. Do you think that some spelunkers, do you think they hate fat people?
Oh, yeah.
That's me projecting as a fat guy. I'm like, those little twinks don't like me.
Do you think they bring fat people?
Yeah, exactly.
out?
Ooh, I don't think you're gonna fit. Hee. They like, there's like a hole this big. I don't think you're gonna fit, fat ass. Crawl into the hole. His feet are kicking into the earth whenever he gets inside. I'm like, you son of a bitch. He's like, yeah, can't catch me. Burrows into the earth. You know what's also f***ed up with caves too? We have some of these in Alaska where I live. There's like storage facilities, entire storage for like cold storage and that stuff. And they burrow underground and make like caverns. But it's like a thing where the deeper you go, the colder it gets, I think. Data centers too. So people put tons of servers in those too. I always thought that was kind of interesting and creepy because there's like ring lights down there. But I'm like, imagine that goes out. Now you're just kind of stuck underground. Okay. Within each cave or cave feature is a difficulty ranking system that tells divers what they're getting into. Guides will list each one at a level system from 1 being not too bad to 5 being you need some experience. Okay. Because of social media, we are not only seeing this hobby grow on a massive scale, we're starting to see a greater number of cave diving creators. And this is where I say stop. Enjoy it to yourself. Don't show the world. It's a plague. It is a plague on the eyes and the senses. I will be in bed. A little tired. Watching my phone, whatever. And then I have seen cave video. I cannot stay on them that long. Seriously. I'll like move my blanket off me. Just that feeling of something on me. I can't fucking do it, man. Because of sites like YouTube, many people are being introduced to the fascinating and horrific world of cave diving. Over the years, numerous caving channels have popped up and gained millions of views documenting their adventures. One of the more well-known channels, Caveman Hikes, is a father-son duo who live to share with the world their caving endeavors, traversing through some of the roughest and snug caverns out there. And I will say, this guy, steel trap brain. There's been times we sit there and he's like, there's a nest of spiders.
The amount of spiders in here is significant, and I hope you can see that a little bit.
All over my face, that's okay.
It's the inevitable conclusion of what I am doing, but
it's insane. And his son, it's crazy that this kid's just like, yeah, I think I can fit. Goes through, no, I can't. And then to just have the mental clarity to not just be like, I'm dead.
Yeah.
Because if I went through it, I'm like, I'm stuck. I mean, there's no way. It really shows like how if you just freak out, you'll kill yourself.
Oh, yeah, you'll panic. You'll pass out and probably...
That would be me.
You probably bust your head too. Trying to like...
Whatever, yeah.
There was that one YouTuber who put his girlfriend in to see how far she can go.
Wait, a creator?
Yeah.
Did she want to?
Yeah, she wanted to.
Oh, okay. That made it sound like he was just like, he's like, climb. I don't want to get in there.
But she got to a point where he just kept explaining like what was coming up, and he's like, this is the hardest part.
Like the squeeze or whatever.
Yeah, and then this one was like a weird like loop thing, and then I think she got past it, but when she was in the next room, she started panicking because I think it started to settle in of like that was hard to get through. How am I gonna get back out?
I wonder how much of that beforehand too do you have to prep people and be like, it is going to be a mental hurdle. You'd have to think of something too. I mean, if you've been in there too, I bet he was probably pretty good about being like, you made it through, we can make it back out. If you made it in here, you can make it out, kind of thing.
Yeah, he was.
And obviously
good.
they did,
yeah,
or whatever. So, or yeah, that's where you're like, no, dude.
Yeah, shoot.
They're down there still.
See, that's when we're talking about creepypastas. That's what I was thinking. You go down into the cave, but you come out a different person. You stay in the cave.
You go in the cave as a 15-year-old white girl, and you come out as a 48-year-old Puerto Rican guy. Creepy pasta. That would be a creepypasta too. Mi amor. Mi amor. It'd be like that kind of thing. Where's Jessica? It's like kind of it's just a hot chick, but cave diving.
Oh, yeah. No.
Yeah. Keith Edwards is another YouTuber with over 50 million views on his caving videos. His most popular video, Caving Claustrophobia Killer Cure, shows him and members of a local caving club diving through a flooded cave. That's another thing I don't get to, man.
Oh yeah, the
People
underwater
spelunking and they go underwater. Why? Gasping for air with each inch they crawl. That was awesome. His channel doesn't solely focus on caving. Strangely enough, his other massively popular videos revolve around elaborate short films about Thomas the Tank Engine.
He's got two hobbies, caving and Thomas Trains.
Which I just want to say, that is so sick. I love the idea of just being like, I'm going to go basically die and then come back and you're just like, Thomas. Yes. Chew. Chew.
Have you seen the clip of the guy who missed the air pocket when they were doing underwater caving?
Oh no.
He started freaking and then he like almost drowned the other guy.
Oh, he just bailed. You're good. You're good. You're good.
But yeah, he came up and
Oh man.
oh,
Yeah, I just
pitch black down there. Can you imagine if your light died in the water?
I literally have to scroll until I find like a video of like I don't know, like a basset hound like walking in slow motion. And I'm like, that's the only thing that settles me. It's like basset hound videos or like a bear and he's like in the woods and he's like scratching his back on a tree or something. I'm like, oh, look at him. Or a big turtle eating a piece of cabbage. That gets me too. Love that. I'm already okay now. I was kind of distressed, now I'm all right. You can also find archives of old caving documentaries. Sid Peru, a film producer for the BBC, filmed hundreds of videos of cavers during the 1970s and 80s. His work inspired a whole new generation of people to go and explore caves, which I will say, that's like my favorite thing about YouTube is shit like that. I love those old like documentary style videos. Like I'm sure those would be pretty interesting. The iPhone has made it, and the GoPros have made it so personal where you're like, I think I'm gonna die. Like you're like right there. But I feel like there would be some interesting stuff. And also too, the amount of like old documentaries that you just don't even think about. Like I saw this one of a Scottish guy. He like rides a bike across these mountains and just like he hit all these whiskey bottles everywhere. And he's just getting drunk as going to visit a friend. And when he gets there, she's not even home.
Like,
So he just gets on his bike and rides back. It's like 20 miles. Like, holy fuck. The idea of cave diving on its own is already terrifying for most people. As you can imagine, there are also cave diving horror stories that can be the stuff of nightmares for these people, which is people getting stuck inside of caves. In the town of Oudtshoorn, South Africa, the Congo Caves are a popular tourist attraction where guests can get guided tours through their rocky tunnels. And during one of the tours, an obese woman was advised not to enter the caves because of the potential for her to get stuck. Her husband got into a dispute with the staff and forced them to take her through. That's a brave woman.
I was gonna say.
I went to Casa Bonita and I saw that thing and I was like, I ain't making it through. Black Bart's Cave, I was like, my ass is not making it through this deal. The beginning of the tour features a 2-foot squeeze labeled the Tunnel of Love, otherwise known as the Dietitian's Dream. As the woman attempted to fit through, she slipped and got stuck sitting down with her feet trapped underneath her. Ugh. She was so large that she was perfectly sized to be pinned underneath the rocky ceiling and couldn't move a single inch. And behind her were 22 other guests, including 6 deaf people and a bunch of kids. Staff attempted to free her, but eventually had to call 911, and a 20-person rescue crew was flown in by helicopter, accompanied by numerous EMTs on site. All those stuck in the cave were given blankets and food while the staff tried to free the woman. They had been trapped in there for so long that EMTs had to climb over the woman to administer insulin for the diabetics. And after 11 hours, first responders were able to free the woman by lubing her up with petroleum jelly and pulling her free with a winch. Old reliable, baby. That's how I get out of the tub. Once everyone was out of the cave, the woman was taken to the hospital and treated for minor injuries. The $3,000 rescue ended up boosting tour numbers as curious visitors flocked to see the exact spot where the woman had gotten stuck, which is kind of true. Oh, it was here? Wow.
You think they have a photo up with her?
To me, you have to. If anything, I would have that up there because it's like all the people being like, you should not go down there.
Yeah.
It's a trophy.
Yeah.
You know?
How about
Should've listened.
when the tour guy says, don't go down there because you're obese? Don't go down there. Maybe they know a little thing or two.
Well, I could see someone, I bet you it's probably like tourist or something who are like, I traveled all the way here. I want to go through the fucking thing. I'm sure it's fine. And lo and behold, you're just perfectly sized to not make it through. And you need literal petroleum jelly to be like, pop out. Many caves have large pitfalls that require rappelling, and sometimes equipment failure leaves people trapped at the bottom and puts their mental state to the test. The UK has one of the largest caving communities on the entire planet, with numerous locations to explore and groups to join. The Easgill Caverns have been labeled as one of the most complex dives in the UK. Once a group of 6 men ventured inside, and after 3 hours, they tried to exit through what is referred as the tube. The biggest of the group made his way to the end until a large spike prevented him from fitting through. The entire time he was crawling, water was pouring in on top of him.
Jesus.
And when he reached the end, his body blocked the flow and caused it to pool all around his head.
Literal nightmare.
I'm gonna die.
After panicking, his friends behind him made a human chain and pulled him back through the tube, and it took another 4 hours to exit as they took all kinds of alternate routes. God, dude, 7 hours? Also, I want to say, good friends.
Yeah.
Those are fucking smart dudes where it's like, how do they preserve energy in battery packs so long? I'm sure people bring a shit ton of stuff, but still, good to be prepared. A lot of dumb people would crawl and be like, oh, we'll be in and out there in no time.
And then your flashlight dies.
I mean, imagine actually sitting there in the dark and you have nothing. I mean, like, what? Do you just sit
you're
there?
Dead. You're dead.
Do you sit there or do you try to climb?
Yeah.
I'm on the verge of a panic attack.
If your shit dies, you better know which way, like, is the exit.
How would you know? What is up, what is down? You know, in these caves, you have to go down to go back up, or so, like something crazy. You would be so fucked. If a guy was like in pitch black and he was able to make it out, that is insane. And that is like a thing where I'd be like, God is real.
I would just be praying to God that I die peacefully.
I would say, yeah, God, have a fucking snake crawl through and bite my neck, so I could just be like, oh man.
Or the ghouls take me and raise me.
Let the ghouls have my skin, God. At least let the ghouls prevail. Crawling through. Oh boy. It's common sense to avoid caves during rain, yet some people still ignore the obvious risks to fuel their attraction to danger, which I'll be honest, I wouldn't have even thought of that. Okay, it's kind of cloudy. You think we should call it off? No, man, it's a cool day. It's gonna be cool down there. Yeah. And then I drowned. During monsoon season in Thailand, a coach and his 12 young soccer players entered the Tham Luang cave to perform an initiation ritual in which new team members write their names on the cave wall. The team ventured about 2.5 miles from the entrance before a flash flood began, and the cave was being filled with water. Which maybe you've heard of this story. The cave they entered was notorious for flooding, especially during rainy seasons. Parents began to worry as hours passed with no contact from their kids. Suspecting that something went wrong, they checked the entrances to the Tham Luang cave and saw their kids' bikes parked outside. Oh my God. Can you imagine driving up on all your kids' bikes and you see like water gushing into the cave? Ugh. Police were alerted and a rescue operation was put together. Divers struggled to make any progress because of the rising water and strong currents, despite water constantly being pumped out. Inside, the group had built a shelf to keep themselves out of the flood water, and the coach was a former monk who taught the kids breathing techniques to conserve air and keep everyone calm. Holy like a kind of a fuck up, be like, dude, why the fuck did you take them down there? But at the same time, too, a monk literally being like, let me tell you how to like center the fucking universe in yourself. To a child, mind you. You think it's easier for a child than an adult? If an adult's like, oops, okay, just calm. Versus an adult would be like, we're gonna die. I feel like children would be more susceptible to be like, okay, I'll listen to you.
Oh,
versus an adult being like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, and dive into the water and do whatever. Eventually, international aid from the US and Europe arrived and began to establish guidelines in the muddy water. Progress was slow, but after 9 days, British divers located the group of 13 survivors alive and well. Over the next week, the rescue team came up with a way to extract everybody inside. A pulley system was installed in the flooded sections, allowing the boys to be placed in a bag alongside an air tank while being guided through the water. One by one, everyone was safely removed from the cave and taken to the hospital. All the boys had to have masks put over their eyes because their eyes were too sensitive to the sun from being stuck in darkness for 2 fucking weeks.
Oh my God, they're stuck in the dark too.
Everyone inside the cave would make a full recovery, and in total, 1 diver died while trying to deliver air and was honored for his sacrifice, which that is an actual fucking hero.
Yeah.
That's like some Hercules shit. That's like Greek mythology levels of hero. Put a picture up of our boy. This is a moment of silence, dude. I'm like legitimately looking up to the fucking heavens because I know like he's getting his dick sucked left and right by all kinds of like angels and stuff, and God's just like, you get party 24/7, motherfucker.
And then you had Elon Musk making the
Oh, was that during the Elon Musk time when he
Yeah.
called the guy a pedophile? What a fucking loser, dude. Jesus Christ. Entering a cave, especially alone, can be especially dangerous. Too many people get overconfident in their abilities and end up in terrifying situations. Thankfully, there are dedicated teams that specialize in cave rescue that save hundreds of people every year. Unfortunately, not everyone can be so lucky. Yeah, I mean, that would be devastating too. Being your job, having to go in and save people, all those lives, and how many times do you go on and like, or the inevitability that you can't save somebody. I mean, how would you live with that?
Well, you would blame yourself.
You would blame yourself.
Yeah.
Like, that's not fair, but I'm just saying, like, that's insane. Many cave expeditions can be fatal. Near BYU, there is a cave called the Cave of Death.
Nice.
We should go in there. The entrance for the cave is a small 4-foot tall cavern that leads to a flooded section, and the water-filled passage is only 18 inches wide, 20 inches tall, and 15 feet long. It's fun! On the other side is a large room that could hold up to 6 to maybe 8 people. And in 2005, a group of 5 friends decided to explore the cave around 3 a.m. after their friend Jennifer Galbraith detailed the near-death experience she had exploring it on her own. An hour later, they began their journey together. Jennifer Galbraith, Blake Donner, Ariel Singe, Scott McDonald, and Joseph Ferguson crawled through the passage. Joseph soon realized the risk, decided to hang back and wait for them. Smart. According to the reports, the group had successfully made it to the other side after a brief swim through an underwater passageway. Eventually, when it was time to exit the cave, they ran into trouble. The lack of oxygen caused them to panic, and Ariel was the first to swim back towards the exit. The group was waiting for her to pull up on the fastened rope to signal that she had made it through, but she never did. Meanwhile, Joseph had been waiting for 45 minutes and decided to head back and ask for help. Joseph is smart. Have more friends like Joseph. When rescuers arrived, they started pumping out water and sending oxygen to the cave. And it didn't take long before all the bodies were found inside the flooded crawl space. They had all died trying to escape.
Fuck.
Police believe that all 4 members died after Ariel drowned underwater, blocking them from exiting the passageway. This is like, and hearing these, they never get easier. And then every time I'm always just like, but why did you go? Like, it's just a thing where you want to smack them and be like, but why? And I understand, that it's like a hobby and people want to do it, but man, just hearing these things, like imagine getting a call in the middle of the night and be like, yeah, they found your daughter's body in a cave or something. Oh my God, good fucking Lord. As kids, fast food play places were an endless maze of fun and adventure, right? The McDonald's play place. There's nothing weird there like shit, piss, and dirty syringes, but it's important to remember as adults that the colorful tubes are meant for kids only. Kong Adventure Center, that's right, bitch, we're going to a play place. Kong Adventure Center is a family-oriented activity venue where people can take their kids to hike, climb, run, and cave dive. Within the complex is a massive network of fiberglass tunnels created to simulate a real cave with large rooms and narrow passages. Carl O'Keefe was at a birthday party with his niece, and at some point during the party, he ventured inside one of the artificial caves and began to explore. Why, Carl? While inside, he came upon a tight tube and tried to crawl through. Realizing that he wasn't going to make it all the way, he tried to turn back, but this was impossible because he had become stuck inside. He tried to adjust his body inside the tubing, but the more he squirmed, the more his body compressed. Realizing he was in trouble, he began to scream for help, and staff rushed to his side. And 911 was called, and firefighters and cave rescue teams arrived on the scene. Carl was trapped inside the fake cave for multiple hours until rescuers removed a section of climbing wall and cut him free from his fiberglass fissure. He was quickly rushed to the hospital suffering from serious crush injuries, including organ failure. After 10 days in recovery, Carl would pass away from his injuries.
Jesus.
God. My God. Also, too, yeah, you keep squirming, and each time you go into, it's just like literally your body just compressing even more. My God, man. Also, too, how fucking devastating for those kids.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
They don't get to play in the play place now?
Some people are not interested in dry caves. They need something more extreme. Underwater cave diving is slightly more popular than regular cave diving, but 10 times as dangerous. 31-year-old Miroslav Kuklish decided to go diving alone inside an underwater cave in Pognasia Bay, Croatia. Before going down, he told his friends and family where he was going and descended into the flooded caves. He started his descent at 9:15 p.m., and by 12:15 a.m., the police were called to cave entrance after not hearing from Miroslav. When divers were able to safely enter the cave, they found his body 54 meters below the surface in a part of the cave called the Deep Gallery. After discovering his body, officials were horrified to find a massive diving knife in his chest.
Whoa.
When the autopsy was performed, it showed the knife had entered deep into his chest. He was still alive when he was stabbed. Because there was water in his lungs indicated he had partially drowned. At first, people believed he had been murdered inside the cave, but there was zero evidence indicating anyone else was inside or around the cave when Miroslav entered. As more evidence was compiled, a new tragic theory emerged. Along with an autopsy, investigators did a routine inspection on his gear and found that they were functioning normally.
but his air tanks were completely empty. They also noticed that the cave floor was filled with a thick layer of silt. Most shocking of all, they realized that the knife actually belonged to Miroslav. Once all the pieces were put together, it was obvious that Miroslav had taken his own life once the air tanks ran out, so he wouldn't drown. It's believed that he took a wrong turn near the entrance to the cave and entered the deep gallery instead of the shallow gallery. Realizing he had made a mistake, he tried to leave, but because he had kicked up a large cloud of silt, that blocked his vision. He spent the remaining air desperately searching for the exit. Man, dude, you can drive that into your own chest too. Underwater, you know how much force you would need for that?
It's fucking badass.
Well, it's just a... I guess it's just a thing of just like, that just shows the horrors of drowning too. Like, I would rather stab myself to death than have to like sit here and drown. I mean, like, you know, fog, I mean, there's no way you could find anything. And there was definitely no light source coming into the gallery, the deep gallery. Though these stories are all well known, none of them compared to the infamy of the Nutty Putty Cave incident. John Jones was an avid caver who had years of experience squeezing his body through Earth's tightest passages. During a group of exploration in Nutty Putty Cave, just south of Salt Lake City, he split off from the group and went down a tunnel in search for the feature called the Birth Canal. Unknown to him, John had traveled down an unmapped route and found himself needing rescue. During his crawl, he squeezed his body through a slight bend before entering a near vertical drop. Basically, he was in the cave and he was completely upside down stuck, like in a coffin, basically a stone coffin. As he continued down, his worst fears were realized when he reached a dead end. He tried multiple times to free himself, but his 6 foot, 200 pound frame wouldn't bend around the entrance, and he was stuck upside down. John's brother, Josh, was the first to discover him, failing to pull him out before crawling out to call 911. Multiple teams arrived and evaluated the situation, leaving them with 3 options. They could break John's legs and pull him out, drill around him and clear a path wide enough to free him, or create a pulley system to try and shake him out of the crevice. Time was limited. The longer John remained upside down, the greater his risk of complications. His heart was already struggling to circulate blood properly, and if left there too long, his organs would shut down. Breaking his legs would be a last resort, so they tried drilling around him, but the drill jammed and broke down. A pulley system was hooked up to John's feet, but as they began to pull, the equipment snapped, dropping him deeper into the hole and wedging him further in. For 28 hours, he was fed water and sandwiches while hanging upside down, as rescuers worked tirelessly to save him. But sadly, John's lungs and heart began to fill with fluid, causing his vital signs to slow and eventually stop. Even after his death, rescue teams continued searching for a way to extract his body. After a week of failed recovery attempts, the cave was sealed with concrete to become his final resting place and basically just prevent people from going in and seeing his body. And there's just no way to drag him out. It's a fucking horrifying tale, man. Listen, if you want to feel a rush of adrenaline, there are plenty of options you can do other than caving. Like I said, finishing a Lego set. Legos, you'd be surprised the adrenaline you get. Exploring caves and crawling in the dark might sound fun, but it's a very easy way to find yourself in a life-threatening situation. So, if you're going to participate in this, bring a buddy and do your research, all right? Safe tunneling, my friends. We will see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Welcome back to the Papa Meat channel. How you doing? Coming on sundown because today we're going to be talking about catfishing. The dating world is already full of uncertainty, but perhaps the worst thing anyone can experience on a date is being catfished. Nick, give him a breakdown what catfishing is.
It's where a man or woman pretends to be someone they're not, get your hopes up and crush your heart.
Now, is that just physical looks, or does it also go to like, well, I guess people lie about their jobs and all kinds of stuff too.
Mainly it's the physical look. That's how I see catfishing.
I feel like more men will lie about their job for like status or like financial status or whatever.
I've had someone who, it was a woman, and they were sending pictures of a more attractive woman, and then when I try to go on a date, they're like, I have to explain, like, these pictures of me aren't me. There's someone I found online, and then we did a video call, and she's like, do you still want to go on a date with me? And I was like, no, you lied to me.
Well, first off, that's a guilt trip. 1,000,000% that's someone trying to guilt trip you into going on a date with them. Did she try to justify, well, I have to do this because...
She just said that she does this to a bunch of guys. She likes the attention.
Oh my God, get away from me, demon. What a weird thing to say. I do this to everybody. I don't have a heart. I don't know. I just don't really think about anybody but myself. Anyways, fuck you. You know, I mean, like, what else are you supposed to say with that? You might think that catfishing is a rare occurrence, but you'd be dead wrong. With online dating becoming more and more popular alongside advancing technology, changing who you are has never been easier. In the US alone, states like New Hampshire and Arizona lose anywhere from $7 to $43 million in romance scams a year. And in India, reports indicate that at least 60% of all matches are catfished.
So if I ever go to India, do not open up Tinder.
Well, I don't... suiting my options off for a bit. Do you think there are people who are like, I'm gonna go to a foreign country and find my true love through Tinder?
I could see some like weeb going to Japan and be like, I'm going to find my.
Oh, sure. Oh, I guess it's the difference between that and like a passport bro is that they're going there specifically for that versus I wonder if people are just like, just roll the dice and see.
Maybe I get lucky and she can come in my bag and take her home with me.
We'll break her legs. We'll fit her in the bag. And when they scan, I'll do. Shh. Don't say anything. Are you okay in there, Sakura? I love you, baby.
I think after 50 pounds, you got to start paying money.
AI is only making the problem worse, whether it's the thousands of people dating literal robots or people using programs to face swap and realistically alter their looks. People of all ages are looking to swindle on unsuspecting dates. So much so that we're even seeing cases of family members helping other family members catfish people. What? How fucking weird is that? Way to lower your child's morale. You are ugly. You should pretend to be someone else because that's the only way this is going to happen.
Also, you know what that says? I think the parents were probably catfishers as well. That's how I got your dad.
That's just our way. That's the Williams way.
I want to know if catfishing has ever worked.
Oh, 100%. There's got to be a guy out there where he shows up and he's like, well, you're not really what I remember, but it'll do. Read my book. How do you text with those hooves? So put on your best clothes and get ready to be in shock as we unmask the dark world of catfishing. Catfishing has long since been in the cultural zeitgeist. Shows like MTV's Catfish were hugely successful even back in 2012. The show's premise was simple. The hosts Neve Schulman and Max Joseph would receive an email for someone requesting they investigate their online love interest to see if they are who they really are. I feel like the Catfish movie is when I really knew what that term meant. Before the show, Neve did the documentary showcasing his catfish. I wondered too how much, I was thinking about this, how much that documentary and how much his show actually just where people were like, oh, I can do that. He just showed people being like, oh wait, you can just trick people like this? Oh, okay. You know, I guess damned if you do, damned if you don't, but you know. From there, the host would do deep dives into the other person's life, reverse image searching, and finding any information they can, which is the funniest thing ever. I love that they act like they're like forensic detectives. He's like, Max, I don't know about this. This is kind of weird. I'll like go on his Facebook and they just type in a name. That's not who that is. Whoa! And he has a camcorder. Yo! What?
I got matched up with Pokimane.
What if it was really her? Do you want me to use this as a time to say that Pokimane, if you're single and available, that you would go on a date with her?
Pokimane, if you broke up with your neighbor, I am single. I will travel to you.
You broke up with your neighbor? What are you talking about?
She's doing like a series where she's like, I'm cooking. My neighbor's such a good.
Oh my God, you actually know, like, do you watch her?
No, it's on Twitter. I see clips of it.
Stop bringing her up on the channel. God. Then they travel to meet the person and confront them about lying or to simply talk with them. If the person is a catfish, they've revealed their true identity to the victim either online or in person. It is a captivating show. The most awkward interaction, a guy was catfishing another guy pretending to be a girl. He like walks up, he's like, we could have had everything. Or something crazy, some crazy shit. And the guy's on like a park bench like, what the fuck? And Neve has to step forward. He's like, yo, bro, back up. And then Max is the background.
They could definitely start faking it.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, I would imagine from the inception of the show, it was probably majority faked, yeah.
You think the documentary's real though? That felt.
Yeah, definitely. I think that feels more realistic. Also, for people to even be willing to be like, yes, I'm the catfish, let me come forward and reveal who I am, I don't believe it. I mean, that's the thing about the internet is that people, if you're a catfish, if you get caught, you swim away. Oh, never mind. Oh, delete my account. There it is. This simple yet captivating concept drew in audiences weekly and was highly rated for the ridiculous stories it aired. Sadly, as the show progressed, audiences felt it lost its original mystique because people became better at recognizing fake accounts, which made the reveals less shocking. Also, too, once people realize that catfishing's a thing, they're just like, I mean, I'm being fucking catfished. This is not who it is. It's just not as juicy. There's not the mystique of people being like, wait, what? This is a thing? Oh my God.
That's why I require every woman to send me their driver's license and social security number.
You have to, and a blood sample. Just to make sure you are who you say you are, sweetie. I'm trying to protect both of us. Kiss me. However, many of the show's former contestants and viral moments carry on its legacy in other online communities. One AMA on Reddit, hosted by Neve, who answered many common questions about the show and reminisced with the fans about their favorite moments. In a very short AMA, a person claimed to be a paid actor playing the person being scammed and said the majority of the show was scripted, though they were told some of them were 100% real, which I believe that one out of everything. One, I don't even think it's the showrunners. It's definitely the network also being like, this needs to be way crazier. We're gonna get some actors in there. We're gonna fabricate some shit. How many times can you have some fucking weird person that's just like, I just didn't know how to say this to you. I'm sorry. You know?
Also, if I was getting catfished, I don't want people to fucking know what I said to them. What?
No shit. Did you send this dick pic and you said that your mommy was hard? That she wanted her milk? Kinda wish you didn't read that, but yeah, I said that. If someone approached you with this, would you just think that this is a moment to get on TV? And you're like, oh, well, I gotta get on TV. Or do you think this is an actual way of being like, well, how romantic is it that it'll be filmed and then it'll be caught on television that she accepts me for who I am, or they accept me for who I am?
How do you get self-esteem by being shown on the show? That would destroy my...
You don't. That's also why, once again, I'm actor. Fans also brought up the numerous insane stories, like in season 5, when a man named Spencer Foley believed he was dating Katy Perry. During their quote-unquote relationship, she shared unreleased music and even planned to propose to her with his great-grandma's emerald ring. However, the host revealed that the woman he was talking to was a woman in England named Harriet. When Spencer heard the news, he didn't believe it, even after the host flew him to England to meet the woman. But there's no way. You're not Katy. He's like, not like, I could see also people not understand the situation. No, Katy, she's not dating you. This is who's actually been talking to you. That's not Katy Perry. Oh no, I've been lied to you. Yeah, you still gonna propose to me at a concert? Another episode that season featured a man named Lucas, whose real name was Zach, who was actively leading on 3 different women. God damn. After some digging, the host discovered that he had an extensive history of catfishing, allegedly involving around 400 women. Now this has become an addiction. It's like a little dopamine hit every day, you know?
As I've never catfished, but I could assume...
You've definitely, whatever. I've never catfished, but I can assume that this is exactly what would happen, and this is exactly how I would do it. I've never done it before.
I assume it's like an acting role. I get to play this character.
Oh yeah, well you get to escape who you are. I get to be the every better version of myself, or sometimes a worse version of myself. Probably the most insane story came from the show was released in season 2. A woman named Carmen contacted Neve and Max with a concern about her cousin, Antoine's love interest. According to her, the man her cousin was in contact with was named Tony, and he refused to talk on the phone or send a photo throughout their entire 3-year relationship. How do you go 3 years, Antoine? Come on now. Despite this, Antoine is not fazed because he is in love with Tony for his voice. The investigation took them to Cincinnati, where they used an old phone number to locate Tony. It turned out that the phone number led them to an address of a convinced criminal, Anthony Thomas. Because of this, the host believed Tony never sent any photos because he was actually calling from jail. So they continued searching around the city, but found nothing. Feeling defeated, they returned to inform Carmen and Antoine that Tony is likely not a real person, when out of nowhere, Carmen admits to being Tony. For 3 years, Carmen catfished her cousin Antoine because years earlier, he called her fat ass Kelly Price. And she was so offended that she faked a multi-year relationship. This is an evil thing to do. For a fat Kelly Price, get over it. That's not that bad. Fat ass Kelly Price, that's not bad. For a multi-year emotional terrorism, okay? As they continued to question Carmen about why she did it, she admitted she loved catfishing and saw nothing wrong with what she had done. It's also so weird too that you're role-playing probably sexual conversations with your cousin and stuff, doing all that weird shit.
She definitely got hard or wet too.
She definitely got hard. Her clit looked like a nerd rope. Catfishing stories come in all shapes and sizes. Strangely enough, many people have been scammed after believing that they were in a romantic relationship with Elon Musk. Who would want to date Elon? Can you actually imagine going on a date with Elon? There's the money, but still, I mean, like, listen, I get that of, oh, well, he's the richest man in the world. I'll tell you what, at the same time, if you can find a guy that makes like 150 grand, you get just about a similar thing. Honestly, who wants to go, can I buy a yacht? When have you ever actually thought about that in your life, right? Can you imagine going on a date with Elon at whatever fucking cryptic hellhole he takes you to, and then later, yeah, he courts you? I was actually gonna see if you wanted to come up. Okay. Score.
I have Starlink upstairs. We could play
Starlink. We play Diablo 2. One older woman, Hilda Holland, supposedly met with him on Threads. Yeah, right. On Threads? God, would this happen last year? Supposedly met with him on Threads and started video chatting. Also, the competitor. She met with him on a competitive platform. In reality, this was an AI deepfake that also used a fake Elon voice to lure her in. God, that would make me run away. Come sit on Papa's lap. Hilda, I'm going to take you to Morocco. Hilda was told to send him money through gift cards, but to not redeem. After $60,000 worth of cards were sent, stores like Home Depot started refusing to sell her more. Good! At what point do you not not know.
Also, the richest man in the world needs Home Depot gift cards.
The richest, no shit. You're the richest man. You have to go, Hilda. You have to go to Home Depot.
My money's all tied up in stocks.
It's all tied up in stocks and bonds. I'm not able to make it home from Morocco. She believed the fake Elon Musk when he told her she would receive a Tesla car and stacks of cash in return for her help. Hilda was then told the FedEx vehicle delivering the money crashed and that she would have to pay $1,500 to repair it. I like how she could have also literally just put a down payment on a Tesla and got it herself. There's no way to go beat around the bush. Like, getting $60,000 worth of Home Depot gift cards for some Elon dick and a goddamn Tesla. What are we thinking? A lot of people will be like, I'm afraid for my safety. So then they do these demands that they think that these people have power over them that they don't actually have. I feel bad. I do feel bad. But this is just a woman who's just like, she's fucking like a soggy diaper down there. You know what I mean? It's just fucking, she's just like, Elon's gonna come tap Hilda. Man, will you stop referring to yourself in the third person? Hilda horny. In the Home Depot line, splish splash, I was taking a bath, baby.
That's definitely what happened at Home Depot. She came in so often, like, why are you buying so many cards? They're like, oh,
Elon's gonna rail me. Yeah, I gotta get Elon home from Morocco, so he's gonna send me a Tesla, and he's gonna let it fucking clap. And I bet you anything, the staff was just like, I hate this woman. And then after a while, one person had a heart, and they were like, we can't let you anymore. I refuse. I cannot let you do this anymore. One poor 80-year-old woman from Washington dodged mortgage payments for 10 months so she could instead send her love, Elon Musk, the money. After over $50,000 was spent via Apple gift cards, her daughter stepped in to investigate. She looked through her phone and saw that a fake Elon Musk convinced her that he would soon be whisking her away in a private jet and taking her to an island resort. That's very sad. Once again, it's just the old people, man. Also, too, that old people are still that ready. I feel like at 80, I'm gonna be like, I don't care. You know, if some like beautiful woman was like, oh, we could run away together, so I'd be like, no, I'm good. At 80, because also it's just saying getting whisking your way to an island resort. I mean, probably to get fucking pounded by Elon. In one of the most catastrophic Elon scams, an elderly woman from Texas dropped as much as $600,000 after meeting a man posting as the billionaire. She was convinced that investing into his company would give amazing returns, but she'd have to give the money to him directly. Instead, this money was going directly into Moynihan's painting business. He was soon caught and arrested by police. I feel like a lot of people do targeted scams like that, or targeted catfishing towards like rich elderly people. Well, elderly people, just because it's like they have the retirement, they have excess funds, they don't know what the fuck's going on. What? Well, you're gonna take me where? That kind of thing. If I had a relative that was like kind of well off, they were living in retirement, I'd be like, who are these people that are like you're interacting with every day? Like even like the person you like, oh, I go to my water aerobics in the morning. Who's the teacher? How do I know that guy isn't also just like, hey, I have this great little thing. You know what I mean? I wouldn't trust anybody. Sometimes the person catfishing is closer to you than you realize. For one woman named Olivia Fenton, she was tricked into pursuing a man that was secretly her boss in disguise. Olivia's female manager convinced her to go on a date with one of her best male friends. She agreed, and after some conversation, they decided to plan something together. He never showed up to the date. They tried for a second one, but he failed to pull through again, this time due to non-stop meetings. The third date was to take place at a bar. Olivia arrived, only to get a text saying that he wasn't able to find her, so he left. She convinced him to come back, but apparently his train got stuck underground and he couldn't. After telling her manager that the guy she set her up with wasn't working out, she just so happened to get a message from him asking for one final chance. So they planned a dinner, but he claimed to have gotten into a car crash and was unable to make it. From there, she started to put things together. The flowers he once sent to her home just so happened to have a similar writing to her manager's. And in the end, it turned out her manager was using a burner phone and pretending to be this imaginary man using photos of random person from Georgia. It was suspected that she was secretly gay and was struggling to come to terms with her sexuality, so she tried using a fake man to pursue a relationship with Olivia. Regardless, she went to HR and got fired. She also found out that this was not the first time she'd done this to a female coworker.
Whoa.
How did the HR? All right, one time, we'll let it slide. But two, you're fired. One of the most recent examples of a humiliating catfish encounter takes place just recently within the Reddit r/anti-meme community. This community is dedicated to making anti-jokes, but this story focuses specifically on two moderators, RioBox and Course Mediocre 7899, who have been dating for a few months. Out of nowhere, Course stopped communicating with Rio for 48 hours, prompting him to assume that she was in grave danger. He immediately immediately made a post desperately asking anyone who's seen her active online to reach out to him. Attached was a missing person graphic that included her profile picture, which was a photo of the actress Rachel Brosnahan with a heart filter over it. Made a goddamn missing poster. Reddit, okay? The missing person photo graphic had a heart filter over it to really emphasize how truly serious this situation is. 18 hours after that, he announced that she was dead and poured his heart out over his heavy feelings of pain and personal guilt. Apparently, her brother reached out to him via Discord to announce that she took her own life in what is now an infamous string of Discord messages. The way he announced her death was by telling him, quote, "She's no more." We respond saying, "No!" He would later admit that he typed this as he was physically screaming, "No! No!" This post included a new graphic, the same edited photo of her profile picture, this time in black and white, and slapped onto a stock photo of a headstone. There's no way this is real.
This was actually happening on Reddit.
The post would end with Rio threatening to ban anyone that speaks ill, of course, as she was seen as a controversial mod in the community. Some made jokes, but many saw the entire situation as incredibly suspicious. Redditors started digging through Corse's account to find that they were undoubtedly a young boy from India pretending to be a 26-year-old woman. This was pretty clear, seeing as they had posts talking about living in India and even speaking Hindi. They even found the Xbox gamer tag and saw that he was playing Minecraft Mobile after her supposed death. The story ends with Rio admitting that he jumped the gun on all the frantic posts and that he was very likely catfished. He is now taking a hiatus from the subreddit, and the line, "She's no more," has cemented itself as a meme within the community.
They were dating for 3 months and they were calling each other husband and wife. And he was freaking out because he only had her Reddit account and nothing else. So he didn't have her phone number or anything. So it sounds like this Indian guy got in too deep.
This Indian child.
Indian child.
Yeah.
Got in too deep. So he hit the nuclear option, just killed her off.
She's no more is so good. Can you send photos on Reddit?
Yeah, you can send photos.
Do you think that he sent him a picture and the kid was like, "I have gone too far"?
Yeah. Oh no,
I have gone too far.
He was probably talking about like marriage and stuff. Mate, you know, we could be real husband and wife.
No, that's cool. I don't think I want that. And then bam, hog. Oh, I have to become no more.
I had someone, something similar happen. No, hold on. Oh, hold on. There was hold on. No, get back here. There was someone I was talking to, and then for months we stopped talking, and then I messaged them back, like just with a hey, and then on their account, the said, "Hey, I'm so-and-so's brother. I have some bad news. She died." And I believed it. But then after reading this, I was like, oh, fuck.
Let me ask you this. Did you send any dirty pics to this number?
I'm going to plead the fifth.
There's a child out there that has your photos, Nick. That is unbelievable. How do we know this child isn't watching us now?
Oh, I don't know. This was years ago, so.
You want to come make a public statement to this person?
Oh, you want me to?
Might as well, on camera.
Fuck you for breaking my heart.
I think all the people who've been catfished felt your pain right there, Nick. Being catfished doesn't fall under a simple tax bracket. In fact, the rich and famous are just as susceptible for being catfished. In 2022, AMC Theater CEO Adam Aron began messaging and eventually sexting a ballet dancer named Mia, whom he believed to have had a relationship with in the past. Can I just put an announcement on real quick? Adam Aron, hey, do we need 7 AMC commercials before the movie? I know where I'm at. We went and saw Nirvana the band, the show, the movie. 7 AMC commercials. That fucking one with Nicole Kidman. There's like the fucking Coke one. There's the goddamn AMC. Like, who cares about the laser technology? Can we talk about that? Who gives a fuck? And it's always that fucking deep ass lights. This is laser magic. You're like, shut the fuck up. I hope this ends bad for him. Whatever. Okay. After a week of messaging and using other fake identities such as an ex-boyfriend, Mia revealed her true intentions and demanded hundreds of thousands of dollars from Adam. Otherwise, she would leak his lewd photos. Would you give a fuck? I'm the AMC CEO.
Unless you had a little tiny cock.
Even then, if your little pig dick was out there, it is what it is. Now you know. Guess what? I'm still hundreds of thousands of dollars richer. Why would I care?
Ego. These guys have huge egos. Small P&P.
Well, they probably have to have egos with having the 7 AMC commercials before a movie after I've just watched 45 minutes of trailers. So this hour-and-a-half long movie has now turned into a 3.5 hour long excursion because of this. Thankfully, Adam didn't give in and immediately contact the FBI, which led to the person playing Mia to get arrested. 35-year-old Sequoia Blackwood was charged with cyberstalking, extortion, and interstate communications with intent to extort. Catfishes sometimes target more than one person. In another case, a catfish was able to trick a long list of celebrities into performing for their dying daughter. In 2013, Hope Jackson reached out to a bunch of celebrities, including the musical group The Little Big Town, Kate Gosselin, and Brad Paisley, posing as the mother looking to fulfill her daughter's dying wishes of meeting celebrities, aka this definitely big old girl was looking for country music artists to come play for her. Brad Paisley, will you take me home? I want to bring Mrs. Paisley. Feeling sympathetic, most of the celebrities reached out and began regularly talking with Hope and her daughter. Both Brad Paisley and his wife were extremely involved with the young girl, constantly texting her over 10 days, even singing Amazing Grace over the phone. Not long after meeting her, Hope said that her daughter died. Multiple celebrities reached out for an address to send flowers, but Hope refused to do so. The celebrities also asked for pictures, which she refused to provide, and this is where people started to get suspicious. Word? I can't have one photo of your daughter? You know what you could try to do though if this happens, Nick? For when you eventually catfish someone and you do this exact thing, you should say this, or she should have said this, was, I can't take a photo because it steals a piece of her soul. That because people believe that. So be like, she's on her death's door and I can't, all of her needs to go to heaven.
Religious angle.
The police were called and soon discovered the whole thing was a hoax. She was charged with 1 count of theft of services for making Brad sing over the phone for free and was sentenced to 5 years of probation and mental health treatment. Here's what I gotta say. Okay, Brad, singing Amazing Grace over the phone? Well, we gotta charge her for that, right? That's just not free. I'd let that slide, but I'd say we're gonna put you in a fucking nut house. You had all these people wrapped around your finger and didn't once ask for money, which to me also shows it wasn't malicious. It's just some person who was just wanted to meet their celebrity in a very creepy way, mind you. I would say, okay, well, that was odd, but we're gonna help you out, okay? And I do. Some guy with a giant syringe does. Back for a neck. Oh. Most catfish either blow their cover, give up, or get what they wanted before things get too crazy. However, there are a few extreme cases that can destroy people's lives. One young woman convinced her friend to catfish her own father. Why? The 2 friends in their 20s were bored one day and decided to prank their dad, who was plagued with tons of bad breakups and experiences with gold diggers. Why do this to this man? What, am I wrong? One woman suggested that her friend find her father on a dating app and catfish him as a prank. The friend made an account posing as a 50-year-old woman and quickly found her father and began messaging. What started out as a completely harmless chat soon turned into full-on sexting. One day, the 2 women were on a hike when the friend handed her phone to the woman while she went to the bathroom. She saw that her phone was being blown up by her friend's father with extremely lewd messages. When her friend returned, she called her out and her friend got angry and stormed off, saying she wasn't doing anything wrong. Now the friend has gone practically no contact and blames the woman for even suggesting the idea of catfishing her dad, even though she has continued to do it for 2 months straight. Sounds like she just wants to fuck the dad.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
See, that once again, is that not a good catfish? Hey, so actually it's me. What? I thought you were a 50-year-old woman. Now you're a 28-year-old. Oh my God. Some catfishing tales even end in brutal murder. Like a big story that took place in 2007 between a former Marine and a supposed 18-year-old girl. Thomas Montgomery was a 47-year-old former Marine and married father of 2 and was struggling in a sexless marriage. After being introduced to the gambling site Pogo, he meets a woman in a chat room who calls herself Tall Hot Blonde, which of course the guy's like 2007 ex-Marine being like, oh my God, that's hot. That's just her username. Whoa. The woman admitted to being 18, causing Thomas, whose username was Marine Sniper, to pretend to be 18 as well, despite U.S. Marine records showing he was never a sniper, nor did he see any action during his time in the military. I digress. It turned out she was a high school softball player named Jessie from West Virginia, and very soon they started to flirt and the relationship started to develop. She would send provocative pics, and in return, he sent pics of himself when he was much younger in his military uniform. They became in love with each other, sending gifts, love letters, and having phone calls, and even having cyber sex behind his wife's back. Thomas started becoming obsessed, writing notes to himself like one that read, quote, go ahead, Nick.
On January 2nd, 2006, Tom Montgomery, 46 years old, ceased to exist and is replaced by an 18-year-old battle-scarred Marine. He's moving to West Virginia to be with his love of his life.
Meanwhile, at work, his co-workers were hearing him openly brag about dating a teenager. One of them, 22-year-old Brian Barrett, would even get involved as well. At one point, Thomas's wife would intercept a package from Jessie that included love letters and red panties. She was disgusted and felt horrible for the young woman, so he wrote back explaining that he was a middle-aged father and not the man she thought he was. She also gave Jessie the contact for Brian Barrett, who was closer to her age. Jessie wanted revenge after being catfished, so she started chatting up Brian, moving into yet another romantic relationship. This rivalry between Thomas and Brian would lead to a tragic event. Thomas was fed up with Brian, so he brought a rifle with him and confronted Brian as he was sitting in his car after work, shooting him 3 times and killing him. His body was found 2 days later, and Thomas was arrested on top of being hit with a truly shocking discovery. It turns out that Jessie was a middle-aged mother named Mary Sheeler pretending to be an 18-year-old girl in an order to flirt with men online. The most depraved part was that the mother's daughter was named Jessie. She was posing as her own daughter and sending photos of her to Thomas. This included more than casual photos. In fact, she was taking creep shots of her as well. Creepy! Ugh! Thomas was thrown in prison for 20 years, but Mary was able to walk free because catfishing is not a crime. Millions of people each year get catfished, falling in love with someone only to find out that they wasted a large chunk of their life. It's safe to say for anyone currently in the dating game, you need to know what catfishing is to be suspicious of behavior. So make sure you spot the warning signs before you get duped into wasting your time and possible life. Yeah, just wasting a little bit of your time. Probably not your life, but still, it is annoying. Nick, how many times have you been catfished?
Most of them are like, because I swipe on the Asians, like...
Why do you like Asian women so much? Because you're cruel.
I'm cruel.
If a woman is not Asian, you do not give them the time of day.
True. That is not true.
That is absolutely true. Every time you date an Asian girl, you're like, oh, I don't know this and that. I could let this slide. And then God forbid any other girl does anything wrong. Well, I stopped talking to her. Welcome back to the Papa Meat channel. How you doing? Come on and sit down because today we're going to be immersing ourselves into the chaotic world of airsoft culture. Do they still sell airsoft guns like Walmart?
Oh yeah.
They do? Back in the day, that's where I got my airsoft gun. Many kids grow up with a partial interest in firearms, whether it's because of Call of Duty or John Wick movies, alien blasters, loud thing go pop and boom, it makes you go, whoa, guns are cool. That's usually what kids say. Not all of them, that's what some say. Of course, a large chunk of these people will go their whole lives without ever actually shooting a real firearm. But how about the next best thing? Airsoft is a recreational activity that allows you to do the next best thing, detailed military simulation using replica firearms. I would say, do you think airsoft is catty corner, at least, to paintball? Airsoft, for people that don't know, it's a little BB gun. Little plastic beads. But when I would do it, we would pretend that, I don't know, you're gangsters or something, my friend's backyard or whatever, right? And then your dad fucking yells at you because he's like, what are all these beads? And they freak out. Okay, who hit my windshield? It'd be like that. But now I would say the main content around airsoft that I've seen a lot recently is like military stuff in that way. I used to love when I was younger. This is like maybe 10 plus years ago. There's an airsoft guy who was he's like this Russian dude, and he was like a sniper, but he put a camera on his sniper scope so you could see the bead go. And this was like really early on. So you're like, holy shit. And he talked about all these different things, but it was as if it was real combat. Actually, it's very funny. You just see the little bead go. And they do like a little Call of Duty hit marker. And just, hit. Or sit there and it's like, guy won't, cheater refuses to die. She keeps hitting him. And the guy's like,
wasn't that like the criticism of airsoft? Is that like if you're like padded up, you can't feel it?
Well, yeah, that's why people are like, don't wear a lot of clothing. But in some of these
Some of these guns are like strong. You get shot with it. Oh! It's usually much cheaper than buying a real gun and is accessible enough to evolve into its own sport. Though I will warn you, it's not all sunshine and rainbows when it comes to airsoft. Out on the battlefield, you'll find plenty of creeps and emotionally volatile players who will look to harm you or do worse. So, put on your protective goggles and grab some BBs as we fight our way through the airsoft culture, which lately my Instagram feed has been absolutely, flooded with airsoft content. The more I watched, the more curious I became. It felt like it was almost targeted to me. It was like lullabying me into be like, Hunter, airsoft's calling your name. At what point, too? Let me ask you this. This is also coming from somebody who does not know airsoft culture, who doesn't know whatever. At what point is it too late to get into airsoft? As a 46-year-old man, if I got into airsoft, we'd be like, it's too old. Or would they embrace me with open arms, you think?
Depends what group. If it's other 40-year-old men, they'll open their arms to you, but if it's children...
It's hard to see the ages, because everyone's usually wearing the goggles and the mask and stuff, so it's hard to tell. During the 1970s, a large market of people in Japan wanted to own firearms, but couldn't because of the restrictive gun laws. Toy manufacturers were aware of this and began to produce spring-operated replicas. Would not fly today. Or you better hope to God there's a goddamn orange tip on it or something bad's gonna happen. These new toys instantly blew up and became super popular throughout the Asias. One of the first companies to begin mass producing them was Tokyo Marui, known for its innovative battery-operated guns. While the boom was happening, Ichiro Nagata, a Japanese gun enthusiast, created the first soft air gun, which used a mixture of Freon and silicone oil to shoot pressurized BBs. From there, airsoft was born. It spread across the world for the next 2 decades. Around the same time that airsoft gained popularity, its direct competitor, paintball, emerged. And over the years, as the rivalry grew, airsoft has remained a popular hobby for gun enthusiasts, while paintball is either extremely competitive or it's for your 8-year-old's birthday. Paintball to me is like the same as you go to laser tag when you're 10, and then when you're 13, you go to paintball. You know, that's the kind of thing.
And then you get fat welts on your legs.
Exactly. For all the fatties that they go, like I went to bowling. I'm like, I just want to go bowling. And my brother friend's like, we're going to go paintballing. I can't. Sorry, guys. I don't want to get hurt. That kind of thing, right?
I've only gone paintballing once, but the entire time I just hid behind a structure and just shot.
I'm shot! I surrendered!
I got hit in the thigh and instantly, I'm done!
I got hit in the foot, and I was wearing like the thinnest Vans shoe, and it just like my foot was swollen, and I was like, ah! And I think I almost cried for my friends. It was a whole, and I was like, no, I tripped, I sprained my ankle. And they were like, dude, you got shot in the foot. And I was like, no, I tripped, I sprained my ankle. Trying to play it off. Not only is it cheaper to play overall, with guns and supplies costing very little, it's also far less messy. Additionally, the authentic designs of the guns appeal to a much broader audience, enabling people to act out lifelike scenarios, which I think that's the biggest difference with airsoft and paintball, is that paintball is its own gun, whatever. But I think gun enthusiasts who are into like military style stuff, or like they like the way guns look, I think are more drawn to airsoft because of that, because you get to like kit it up as if it is something real that you maybe see in a video game or a movie or something like that. There are multiple ways to arm yourself, from cheap, modest spring-loaded pistols to electric-powered rifles with hyper-realistic blowback and absurd fire rates. And in some cases, higher-end guns can cost thousands of dollars, which they do kit them up. And also, in a way, I'm like, they gotta be careful with some of these, man. It'd be so easy for someone to be like, that's a real gun.
They should make ones that shoot out real cases.
Dude, that was my favorite. There was a Nerf shotgun. You do, and when you shoot it, you click it open, it does ting, ting, ting. There's something so satisfying about shotgun shells, like hitting the floor. Ugh. You're a kid, you're like, ugh. You grab your chocolate milk. People mess with me. Many businesses offer casual battles on weekends, or for those who want to go beyond, there are realistic military simulations that last several days. Jesus. I know, right? How kind of sick would that be, though? You're like camping, sorry, Mom, I can't come home. It's serious, a crazy battlefield out here. Some events cater to those who want long, hyper-realistic battles to have their own detailed narrative. For example, American Milsim has been around since 2011, putting together battles that last well over 40 hours within abandoned fields and cities, which I'll tell you, it sounds kind of cool. That's kind of sick. Also, too, like, who the business idea for that?
We should just do that. We should have people camp out overnight and shoot each other with BB guns. It's gonna be a landmine. It's been a gold mine. Other events, like one held in Germany over an abandoned Soviet airfield, had 5,000 players fighting each other over the course of 3 days, where they were expected to cook, camp, and survive on their own. You weren't just fighting against passionate hobbyists. Often, you'll find actual veterans tearing up the field. Of course, if you can put a gun in your hand, a veteran will go there. You know what I mean? If there's some kind of military thing, they will find their way. It's like Field of Dreams. Build it and they will come.
I'm picturing it's like veterans who haven't seen combat. So
Oh, yeah.
They want the thrill.
Yeah, I imagine there's I maybe if it was playing out like a movie, it'd be the guy who like definitely didn't serve, whatever. He's just like, yeah, this takes me back. And everyone's like, you did not serve any time. He's like, yeah, pretty much, but that's. If I could go back in time. It goes without saying, but people dedicated to airsoft can be some of the most competitive and aggressive players of any hobby on the planet. That is why many believe that airsoft is only for World War II obsessed teens or middle-aged men trying to relive their glory days after getting kicked out of boot camp. But in fact, it's actually a diverse group of people who come from multiple walks of life. Bronies and furries, for example, are some of the largest demographics of airsoft enthusiasts. Did you know that? I didn't. Both fandoms regularly host events where players storm rugged battlefields, blasting each other in full fursuits and other brony attire. Which I will say, if you're in a big fursuit, you ain't feeling those BBs. Well, that's probably why I like paintball, so you can actually see the thing. But I'd love to do like a fucking... like freak out. I'm shot! Back! Oh my god, it's just my guts! You know, like every war film, there's always some guy with his guts out. Oh god! See, I want to go on that deal. No, just being like, I want to go into a simulator. I kind of stopped there, and I was just like looking at I think I looked through 7 past lives of wars I've been in. Is it all kind of, is it fucked up at all that people simulate war in that way? Do you think there's any kind of psychological effect it has of being like, you know what I mean?
I think it could be, depending on the person and situation. Like if they enjoy like, you know, putting like hostages and shooting them.
Well, yeah. I mean, you can say that about anything. What if I told you some people use airsoft guns to fulfill their sexual fantasies? Wouldn't be a Papa Meat video without it. One man takes to an online airsoft community to ask what the safest airsoft specs are for letting his mistress shoot him in the ass and the back with an airsoft gun.
I was picturing like she put it in
Well,
his asshole.
what I thought immediately was he's sitting there and he's just like, okay, easy, just shoot it quick. It's a big hard bone or whatever. They're just shooting his totem pole. How funny, how sick would that be? Your partner sitting there and she's all like nude in the back. Scope on your dick. Hits the underside of your shaft. Ah! Oh! Yes! Direct hit.
Keep going.
Man not down, you gotta keep tapping it. Enemy at the gates or whatever. I feel like getting shot in the balls by a sniper BB would be very unpleasant.
I was terrified of metal BBs because my uncle was like, yeah, when I was a kid, I got shot in the nose, still have the BB. And then he would like move it around in his nose.
Was it actually in his nose still?
Yeah,
what the fuck?
That was like, never got it removed.
I thought you were gonna say just the Christmas Story thing. I feel like everybody got traumatized as a kid by the Christmas Story movie.
Oh, that no.
You'll shoot your eye out.
My brother got shot in the eye, point blank with an airsoft.
Why?
They were playing, and then his buddy like went up behind him and was like, get on your knees. And he was like taking him hostage, and he was like right up in his face, and he says the safety was on, but then
Safety's on.
But then he pulled, and luckily my brother closed his eye. But I was there when it happened. I just remember him screaming, and I sprinted to my parents. And he was like, "Oh, I'm dead."
David's
his eye shot out.
David's blind.
And then like my parents were just sitting there. I was like, "What the fuck are you doing? Do something!" But luckily he didn't lose his eye.
I'm being flooded with so many memories. We used to do all this shit in the back of my friend's house, like in a neighborhood. So there was a fence around it, and it would be like a thing if you'd be like, pew, pew. And my friend would cut these swords out of wood with like a bandsaw, and they're all like blades from that game Onimusha. So you'd be sitting there, and he's just like. Like spinning around, acting like he's sucking up souls and shit. Baby's flying around. Dude, I hit you. No, I did. I hit you. Take me back. There are indeed women in the airsoft community. I know. It's It's crazy. But there's an issue of them being overly sexualized due to their small numbers and the type of person you'd expect to populate a sport like this. There are numerous examples of strange airsoft erotica stories posted online by men that fill the void of their absence in the field. This feels fake to me. Like if guys posting this kind of stories, yeah, I totally got my fucking dick sucked by the super hot chick. Oh really? What's her name? She just like a nomad. She just left. I don't even know her name.
It's a fantasy. They probably saw one woman there.
There's like a grandma dropping off her 52-year-old son. He's like, whoa, smoke show. Hey, Linda. She's like, what? 52-year-old guy's like locking hello with all of his beads. Lay off my mom, Jericho. I don't know why, but Jericho. What a great name, dude. I don't think I've ever met a kid named Jericho. That's gonna be my son's name. Next time I have a son, Jericho. Daughter, Jericho. At first glance, airsoft can look pretty goddamn cool to newcomers, but be careful, because the average player is only a few wrong moves away from being indescribably cringe. There's a constant argument within the airsoft community, and it's that there are too many people taking things too seriously. It is the biggest complaint that we found within the actual airsoft community itself, of people being like, we're supposed to enjoy this, right? And everyone's like, no, this is life or death, motherfucker. It's that kind of thing. And in some cases, you'll find grown men screaming at teenagers who are new to the sport and simply trying to get accustomed to the new environment.
What the fuck you doing, huh?
When you're at a gun range, let's say, like I used to do clay pigeon shooting a lot. When you're done shooting, you put your gun towards the ground because you do not wave your gun around, right? That is that's like a shotgun. Even if there's not a shell in it, it's customary to do it to where your barrel's always pointed down, right? Whatever. Some of these videos, it's like airsoft guys being like, gun down! It's like, I was just checking something, just checking my battery. No! Like treating it like it's like a real rifle. Which, don't get me wrong, you don't want people just shooting off and hitting somebody's eye, but still, this isn't indicative of the entire community, but can be an incredible eyesore to those who just want to engage in some lighthearted fun, right? You just want to play with your buddies. Nope, not to some. There are tons of posts online detailing people's disappointing airsoft experiences. Many times, they're complaining about encounters where players are role-playing as the ultimate badass while decked out in excessive and impractical gear. This is why I blame what is it? The Expendables. I blame that. I blame John Wick. People are like, it is main character syndrome. Yeah, Rambo, all that stuff. I blame all of those. Despite the stereotypical badass military attire, they find that a lot of these players spend their time endlessly complaining about rules and calling people cheaters. According to one enthusiast, he encountered an insufferable player that dual-wielded Berettas, calling one of them chaos and the other control. That is so sick. This is chaos, and this is control. Welcome to your fucking nightmare. Not only did he hype himself up constantly, but he played the game like he was the main character of an anime. He would purposely try to pull off cool-looking moves where he'd enter a room without taking cover as if he was invincible. The man shot him in the chest. He refused to call it a hit. Instead, the guy unloaded back at him and later told the ref that he was the one who was calling his hits. Yeah, which if you get hit in the game, you usually say hit to show that your character's dead, and usually go back to like a spawn point, or like you have to basically go back and then you can re-enter the match or whatever. But it's the same with like paintball. When you get hit in paintball, those who spend stacks of cash on their military gear find it hard not to show it off even when they're off the field, opting to post their epic TikTok edits. And it's pretty badass. Many of these people get frustrated at the idea that what they're doing might be considered LARPing or cosplaying. One man admits that his friend felt the same way, only for him to start pulling up the definition of cosplay on his phone to prove him wrong. Dude, it's not. Come on, man. Here, let me show you. Here. It is cosplay, right? It's 100% cosplay. Do you think the argument is that people are like, well, cosplaying is a specific character from like a fandom, and I am just like, I don't know, an art, like I'm playing Army?
Yeah, but that's the thing, it's a LARP.
Yeah, I think it's just all the same. I embrace it, dude. Who gives a shit? Or I guess unless you're just like, I'm not on the same pedestal as the guy at like an anime convention.
That's probably what it is. Where it's just like
insecure thing. Like,
I'm a man.
This is cool. Like I don't like that, but this is. Yeah, splitting hairs.
Also, some people might think like, this is a drill. This is a tactical drill. I'm trained.
Guys, listen. I'm doing this for the future of the world. Okay? When shit hits the fan, you're gonna call me. It's kind of that. I wonder if it's that kind of. It's almost like a doomsday prepper. Are doomsday preppers cosplayers too?
They're LARP. Yeah. Oh yeah, they're LARPing.
Oh, they're definitely LARPing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'll tell you what. The doomsday people, if and when the world ends, everyone's gonna be scrounging for those fucking bunkers, and they're gonna say,
No. What's worse is that some people try and make TikToks to fight back against people who make fun of airsoft, often looking no different than the people in anime outfits dancing for the camera, right? So they're being like, listen, God, like they're fully decked out and they're like, I'm not an anime character, all right? So stop comparing me, that kind of thing. I'm a lot cooler than that. There's nothing wrong with being a little cringe. I think everybody is. Everybody's a little fucking cringe. Everybody's got their thing, so long as you aren't feverishly trying to combat it. Right? If you're sitting there and you're just like, I'm cool. I'm a cool guy. That's what I think it comes off as bad. If you're just like, I do like airsoft. What are people gonna say? Are they gonna be like, oh, you can't, fuck them. I don't know. Some in the community could care less about looking cool, going so far as to mod their airsoft guns in the most obnoxious ways. Like one man who modded his pink assault rifle covered in hentai stickers to make anime moaning and ooh sounds whenever it fires, which I just got to say, that's a guy that's just like, this one's for me. This one's for me. If you saw that though, it'd be hard not to laugh at.
I wouldn't want him on my team though.
No. Actually, I don't know. Maybe I would.
Breaking cover.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, exactly. Whatever. Damn it. Better know where we're at. Dude, we're fine. If you ever, also during that ooh thing, do you think guys don't like being on his team because also like, I'm getting hard? Dude, stop. Yeah, fire more.
I guess people be complaining, be like, that's not fair. That's psychological warfare.
Yeah, exactly. I'm hard and I'm in pain. It goes out saying that there's a ton of emotions flying during an airsoft battle. If you've ever watched airsoft content, you know that it's not all uncommon to witness some airsoft rage. That's primarily all the content I see is the aftermath of some battle and then people getting upset with each other. Something happened within the fight and now airsoft rage happens. It assumes. There's just something about the environment there that causes common sense to fly out the window and meathead rage to take over. Sometimes it's because people refuse to call their hits, but other times it seems like people are just maniacs that shouldn't be holding a gun, let alone even just an airsoft gun. One particularly viral moment, for example, is filmed by a man who suddenly decides to full auto blast the back of a teenager before the game even started for no reason. Yeah, a lot of these, which to be fair, a lot of these are taken out of context, so who knows, but I will say, it's a thing where there should be no instance where a grown man, even if it is airsoft, just like to a kid, a little kid, you know what I mean? If they're participating in the match, whatever, but just like point blank, it just seems, you know, or it is malicious. It's a fucking cruel thing. Many members of the community are ashamed of this type of behavior and claim that airsoft rage clips make the issue seem worse than it is. That doesn't mean that serious violence doesn't take place on the field. At an airsoft facility in New York, a 20 and 35-year-old player were taken to a local hospital after a verbal altercation that led to a brutal stabbing. Another player was ejected from a local airsoft tournament after attacking someone for shooting him directly in the face. That's what you gotta say too, dude. If people are, it's just so, it's like I wonder how much of this too is just people like, you know, like people are like too competitive and they get mad to even lose. What kind of psychological shit do you think that is?
Well, I'm just speculating, but if he got out early in the game, he's like, this could be like a series of things where he gets out.
Oh, so you're saying that like it was just one, it was like a domino effect. Yeah. He got that, he's frustrated because he's like, oh, damn it.
He's like, he wants to be, you know, he wants to show off his gear.
Yeah, I spent all this gear and I didn't even get to do anything, kind of whatever, so you become frustrated. It's just the fucking like primitive nature in a guy's brain, but then you like run and be like, fuck you! Group altercations are nothing new in the game of airsoft. One of the most viewed rage clips of all time features a kid repeatedly mag dumping someone, which is where you do. In 2020, a group of teens was kicked out of a match after shooting both players and the refs on full auto. Yes, even the refs. One of them uploaded the footage to YouTube, hoping for some sympathy, but instead was met with a massive backlash for their outrageous behavior. Players need to be cautious about where they choose to play, as not everyone is keen on having full-on battle simulations near their homes, or even just the fucking BBs. It's not like when you're done shooting, you go up and you're like, all right, let me pick up my whatever. It's just a fucking mess, right? During a night game, one group of players started dodging actual gunfire after enraging someone living nearby. A local mining quarry regularly rented out in the area to airsoft groups for events and tournaments. This particular game was at night and had lots of
loud pyrotechnics going off, right? Just to simulate, I'm guessing, the fire or explosions or something, to make it more immersive for a fun night game. At some point during the match, a man yelled down into the quarry, "Some of us have to work tomorrow!" and claimed he also owned a gun. Not thinking anything of it, the game resumed, and explosives continued to go off until players were suddenly forced to duck and cover from distant pops and bullets flying over their heads. The game stopped immediately, and the staff tried to find who shot at them, but were unable to do so. Thankfully, no one was seriously injured in this incident, but not everyone gets so lucky. At times, airsoft weapons can lead to actual deaths. Sometimes the battlefield itself can be just as dangerous. In France, a player died mid-game after falling inside an abandoned building where the game was being held. Guillaume Lakota was a prominent airsoft player from the French team IS-38 Grenoble, which regularly played at military sim events across Europe, which I think the military sims are like way more popular in Europe. Like I think it's an actual competitive scene over there. So I think a lot of people from different countries travel around and do that. In the summer of 2017, Guillaume was playing a night game held at Fort de Monte Gilbert. I'm probably mispronouncing all this shit, I'm sorry. But it was built in 1870s, and the fort now hosts events and is a popular tourist destination, but was crumbling due to years of neglect. People are just using it to play around, they're not actually maintaining it at all. Sometime during his match, he was crossing a wooden plank that stretched over an elevator shaft, and he lost his balance and fell 4 stories. The 60-player match came to a halt as people rushed to his aid, but it was too late. And as soon as he hit the ground, he died on impact. Police interviewed all the players and determined that it was just a tragic accident, and since then, the fort is no longer accessible to the public. One of the main selling points of airsoft is the realistic appearance and features of the guns. Though they are toys, over 300 people have died from airsoft-related shootings since 2021, which, yeah. Well, I mean, just people, the thing too is like, what might be a toy to you, on hindsight, to other people, I mean, you just never fucking know, man, whatever. Also, even the guy at the quarry, let's say, he's going around there, he sees like people shooting. It could be friends hanging out behind their house, whatever, on a guy's property, and they see people with guns. There's just all these like fucking terrible tragedies that can happen just because from a distance it looks like a real thing. Who could have guessed that testosterone-filled military simulation nerds would ruin what is supposed to be a fun sport? Some people might try to fight you or induct you into their weird fetish, but know that there are hundreds of groups out there that are completely normal and safe. If you plan on getting into airsoft, make sure you know what you're doing and follow all the rules, because even the cheapest airsoft gun can do some real damage. And also too, enjoy your military sims and have fun with people, but for the love of God, be careful and just plan this stuff. I don't know. It's just a dangerous world out there. Be careful. My God. I'd probably just do paintball. At least it doesn't explode. I guess you still have the rooms. It doesn't fucking matter. I don't know.
The safer option is just pretend. Bang, got you.
Pretend with your friends and then, in your 40s. Bang, I hit you.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Yeah, exactly. All right, that's our video today, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.